watching the possibility of some rotation. So kind of right through there, certainly worth watching. So again, what we're looking at, ORNL around 3:59 towards the top of the hour, Y12, 411, Oak Ridge itself at 412, Scarborough 413, Oak Ridge High and the museum there at about 414 as this moves to the north and east. So I would say make sure you're in a safe place over the next little bit, especially if you live anywhere in southern Anderson County, West Knox, northern Loudoun County, as this is kind of moving towards the northeast. And right now it's moving at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And again, this environment didn't see that first round of storms that came through Kentucky and right along the Tennessee border earlier this afternoon. So this atmosphere is very primed still for storm development. And that's what we're seeing, these kind of just developing all by themselves. And it's this cell right through here. Could be some hail with this. Our biggest concern, again, it's kind of taking on that characteristics where we're starting to see like a little inflow notch, we call it, or maybe some weak rotation just within this system. So that's why we're going to keep a close eye on this. It would be right through there if we were to see it. So right along Interstate 40 as you're going, let's see, we're in Roane County. That's the Roane County border with Anderson and Knox. So I-40 as you're going just out of Loudoun County, Buttermilk Road area, I'd say, as you're going out of Loudoun into Roane County, it would be that area, and extreme southern sections eventually of Anderson County right through here. So this is the border between Roane and Anderson. For now, we're just online and on our app, but if a tornado warning gets issued, we will also go on air on WATE as well. But again, severe thunderstorm warning for Roane County. This goes until 4:30. It's also extreme northern Loudoun and West Knox County. This goes until 4:30, but it's this cell that we're watching. And on this path, we're talking again, Lakeland Subdivision 356, ORNL right at the top of the hour, Y12 at about 4:13, downtown Oak Ridge 4:14, and the high school at about 4:16, American Museum of Science and Energy as well at 4:16. Show it moving northeast at about 25. Kind of interesting, again, that this thing's been all by itself, the way it's just popped over the past 30 minutes. You can see right there, that cell just kind of popped up out of hardly anything. There wasn't much to this, but the way it's just popped up now out kind of in the open by itself is what we have a very close eye on. So again, they're keeping an eye on this as well. Rotation certainly is there, but kind of weak in the lower elevations, the rotations. The question is, can it tighten up? That's what we'll have to keep a close eye on. But it surely is showing at least that possibility that there could be at least some rotation with this cell as it's moving north and east. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on this. Again, we're getting a pretty decently populated area, especially into Anderson County. So 402 at ORNL, 414 at Y12. Downtown Oak Ridge itself is going to be around 415. Scarborough Community at 416 and the high school at about 417. Chris, Emily, I know you guys up there, I just want you to be ready to go on air if we need to call the hub and make sure we're ready for that. Just tell them we may need to go at any time. I know we've got a hockey game on right now. It's the playoffs between the Rangers and the Panthers, but we need to make sure we keep a close eye on this because this could impact a significant amount of people if this does continue to show the rotation we've been seeing over the next couple of minutes or so. We'll keep an eye on it, but just going to show you the product here. What we're looking at right would be this area through here. So we're on the north side of Interstate 40. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit closer, kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about. There's Buttermilk Shores. So that's what I was talking about, the Buttermilk Road area. If you go out of Loudoun into Roane County, there's ORNL, the complex there, and then kind of crossing the river and right on the border between Anderson and West Knox. So here's Hardin Valley, there's ESK. So it would be pretty close there to ORNL. But again, this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 4:30. Again, it's just interesting to see the possibility we could have some rotation with this. I also want to show you just a little bit further to the west. What we're also seeing is additional thunderstorms that have been developing back into Middle Tennessee, and these are moving off towards the south and east. So we will have to keep our eye for our plateau counties, Cumberland and Fentress, maybe for some redevelopment of these storms as we go over the next, say, hour to hour and a half as this comes in the area. But again, Don't like the looks of these developing all by themselves out ahead of the main line. That's not what we want to be seeing happening, because oftentimes, as we say, they take their own characteristics. If they're ahead of or well out in front of these line of thunderstorms, they can develop and turn into tornadic storms. I see another one, looks like it's developing into Scott County as well. So I think we're going to see additional development here, at least over the next 45 minutes to an hour, of these types of storms that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. So we'll continue to just track this one, headed right towards ORNL, right towards the top of the hour here at 3:59. Let's go ahead and get into your safe area there now. Y12 coming up at 4:11. Scarborough as well coming up at 4:14. Oak Ridge High School 4:15. Museum of Science and Energy at 4:15. Highland View School 4:16, and St. Mary's School at 4:16 as well. Showing at least the possibility of some hail with this, 80% chance, but only about a 30% chance that the hail is severe. So severe hail is defined as 1 inch diameter or larger. So this may have some very small hail with it, maybe pea-sized, but still, I think my biggest concern is going to be the possibility that we're seeing at least some weak rotation with this. We're seeing it in the higher elevations. This thankfully not yet down at the low elevations. It's very broad circulation that we're seeing, but something we do want to keep an eye on. Meteorologist Margot Altschuler here as well. Margot, again, this environment's very conducive, we'll say, for more of these storms to pop up as we go through the afternoon for sure.
That is correct, Ken. I mean, this area has not been run over by storms yet today, even yet yesterday afternoon. So it's really had time to sit and gain ingredients in order for us to be able to see these stronger storms. Now, again, we're keeping a very close eye on this storm system that's entering into West Knox County and West Anderson County right now, passing over ORNL. And you can also see this pink right here. This pink right here is really indicating to us that we're seeing those heavier rain showers over the area. And also you can kind of see it's becoming sort of like a comma right there. That's what we're looking for to see that kind of broad rotation. But again, as Ken mentioned, it's very broad in that aspect. But again, in the areas that include kind of ORNL, let's kind of bring this over so you can see the areas that need to kind of get in their safe places next. So Oak Ridge, you're about to be impacted here around 4:13. Again, this warning lasting until 4:30. Go ahead, get in your safe place if you're in the Oak Ridge area, the Scarborough area. Next up would be Oak Ridge High School, St. Mary's School around 4:15. And then you have close to Woodlawn Elementary School around 4:15 as well. Going all the way towards Hardin Valley Elementary School and Hardin Valley Middle School in the next 15 minutes as well. So if I just named out those areas, you probably want to get to your safe place right now. Let's kind of take a look at that base velocity. As Ken mentioned, it's very broad. In its rotation, it's kind of rotating a little bit more in the higher elevations, and we're kind of glad that it's not rotating as much on the lower elevations, but it is a good idea right now to get into your safe place. Again, this storm system is moving over ORNL, moving on into West Knox County and West Anderson County. Now, again, we're going to continue to watch everything, but taking a zoomed out look, we're going to be monitoring everything that comes in over the next couple of hours, because we are watching this line just back west of us, kind of near the Nashville area. They've been warning on this system. And again, this system has already passed over portions of that area already, but there's still warning. So those storms that make their way into the rest of our area that haven't seen those stronger storms need to make sure that they're paying attention, just because we'll see those gustier winds that can take down power lines. We'll see hail. I've seen reports of hail in Middle Tennessee recently. But again, right now, the only storm system in our area is the one that's passing through Knox County and Anderson County. And this warning lasts until 4:30. Again, we're watching it very closely, especially because of that potential for that rotation in the area. And again, seeing some heavier showers near ORNL heading towards Hardin Valley Academy. So again, if you're in West Knoxville, go ahead, get in your safe place. Especially because we are watching for rotation on this system. Ken?
Margo, keep an eye as well as our downtown Knoxville camera, Embassy Suites Hotel. So we're looking west towards where this storm would be. And the other issue we're going to be dealing with, these are what we call HP cells, or high precipitation cells. So that means there's a lot of rain with them. You may not be able to tell if there is some type of a funnel or if there is some type of a actual tornado that would be produced by this. So I don't want you to be looking for that or expecting to see something like that. But again, what we've been seeing is at least some type of weak rotation with this cell. Looks a little more ragged compared to just a few minutes ago, but still don't want to let our guard down. Regardless, could be producing, see it strengthening. It goes to this virtual threat index. It's a value that our computer puts out. You'll only see it here, which is a great thing here on Channel 6. But what it does, the higher that value goes up, the better chance that storm is to be severe. And we saw it start out as like a 2.4. So we've seen that go up in just the short term. In fact, if we track this, you can see it started 2, 2.3, 2.5. Now it's 3.7. So something we're definitely going to keep an eye on as this continues to track. I would say Roane County, you're basically going to be out of this warning at this point. Same with the northern side of Loudoun County. But I'll say not quite yet Roane, because it's really close. It's right on the border where Roane, Loudoun, and Knox come together. But it's going to be just out of Loudoun County the way it's looking. So for this point, I would say we're okay in that northern Loudoun area. But it's very close to ORNL right now. We're getting close to Hardin Valley. It's going to be right along the river crossing Oak Ridge Highway or 62 not long from now. Still seeing about 3.7, so has my attention for sure. Y12, 412, Hardin Valley, the HVA, so the entire complex there between elementary, middle, and high, right at about 4:15, so we're talking 10 minutes from right now, shortly thereafter. Robinson's Crossroads, 418, and Solway at 418, so it's going to be crossing Pellissippi Parkway or 62, Oak Ridge Highway rather, going back towards the west as you're heading towards Oliver Springs, so 62. We'll keep an eye on that. So basically Pellissippi turning into 62. Right now, again, if there were any type of rotation, it would be very close to the ORNL area. Shear looks pretty broad, good to see, but there's at least something there. Again, the red right next to the green. It's not tight. It's not an extreme couplet that's jumping out, but it definitely has our attention that we're kind of keeping an eye on it. They're seeing Weather Service, same thing, discussion here. They're seeing mid-level rotation with this. And what we mean by that is they may not be seeing it on the lowest scan of the radar, but if you go up in elevation in the radar, which is what the radar does, it'll do a scan, then it goes up, and then it continues to go up. They're seeing it kind of in the mid-levels of the scan, so not at the base or the lowest level. That's fine. I do want to do, let's do this. In fact, I'll go ahead and check, see what we're seeing in some of these slightly higher elevation scans. We have the luxury of doing that. So I'm going up to level 3. So yeah, I can see that mid-level rotation showing up there, so we can see it as we go up in elevation, kind of like what the Weather Service is talking about there. So right through here, that's the mid-level. So you may be seeing the base of that cloud has some rotation to it, but at this point, thankfully, we're not seeing it all the way down towards the surface, but they're keeping a close eye on it. So definitely worth watching. It's one of the great things about the Doppler radar system that we have access to. It allows us to see that. But again, severe thunderstorm warning, you're okay in Loudoun County now. So 40-75 split, Eaton Crossroads, I don't think that's a threat at this point as this storm is moving to the north and east. Margaret, I want you to continue to watch the one further to the north if you can, up there into Scott County. If you'll keep an eye on that, and I'll come to you in a minute and we'll check on that. But still heads up Oak Ridge, Hardin Valley, Bull Run, over to where the steam plant was, even Amherst area on the west side of Knox County. I don't think we're out of the clear with this just yet. Severe thunderstorm warning goes officially till 4:30, but it's right over ORNL as we speak. Oak Ridge High School, 421. The Science Museum, 421. There's the HVA, elementary, middle, and also high school, 422, 423 time frame as this is moving in that direction. Again, this is the only warning we have, but I'm having Margot take a look at some of these storms further to the north as well that are developing, and she's also going to talk about the line that's coming back from Middle Tennessee. Margot?
Ken, yeah, watching this one storm system in Scott County, this is kind of closer towards the Huntsville area, Robbins Elementary, Slick Rock, as well as Cordell and Lone Mountain. Now we're seeing the heavier rain kind of in between Robbins Elementary and Slick Rock, as well as just north of Huntsville. Now I did take a look at the base velocity just because, again, we're watching these single-celled storms that are just kind of popping up on their own. They do have the ability to possibly see those gustier winds, as well as possibly seeing that kind of rotation. I do want to point out, Ken, to keep an eye on, the National Weather Service did put a tornado tag on that severe thunderstorm warning in Knox County, just so that we are aware. But again, I kind of scanned this just a moment ago, looking at base velocity just to see how gustier winds are closer towards the surface, and I saw about 58 miles per hour near the Huntsville area. So definitely seeing some straight line winds along with this storm. But again, a look at our reflectivity just to see the heavier rain kind of near the Cole Hill area, again south of the Robbins Elementary School area and north of the Huntsville area. And again, this is in Scott County. Taking a zoomed out look just to kind of see what we're dealing with going kind of just west of us, what we'll be watching over the next couple of hours. They are dealing with some pretty heavy rain as well as some pretty strong storms in that area. Again, this is from our Nashville radar over here. We're watching this storm system kind of as it makes its way east. We already have seen some strong storms along the Tennessee-Kentucky border. Had those two tornado warned storms in Knox County, Kentucky, and in Harlan, Bell, Whitley, McCreary County, Kentucky. Those areas have been run over, so more rain that we see, we actually have the threat of seeing some localized flooding there. But I'm kind of more concerned with this line that's just barely close to Cookeville. It's going to come straight east, and eventually it's going to kind of move towards Cumberland County, Morgan County, eventually going towards Campbell, Anderson County, and continue to go east, so on and so forth. But again, we're watching everything moving forward just because our area is very conducive to seeing these strong supercelled storms, just because we have not seen these storms, especially kind of in the Southern Valley and closer towards the Knox County area here in Tennessee. But starting to see one storm pop up near Spring City, Ken. Again, still keeping an eye on the one in Scott County. And yes, we do still have that severe warned storm in Knox County. Again, that's close to the Hardin Valley ORNL area over there, and it's trekking east. Again, taking a zoomed in look just to kind of see where it's being affecting areas near the Scarborough community, Oak Ridge community, Hardin Valley Academy, where South College, kind of near the Farragut area as well, heading closer towards Amherst Elementary School, going closer towards Carnes as well. We're going to keep an eye on everything, but just know that with these storms, they will have gusty winds associated with them, possibly gusting up to that 60, 70 mile an hour range, as well as possibility of producing pea-sized hail, seeing even bigger hail kind of out west from us. Again, we are watching everything kind of going forward, watching that storm system in Knox County, trekking north and east, and we're going to keep an eye on everything moving forward into the rest of this afternoon again, because our area is just so conducive to seeing these strong supercelled storms. Ken, do you have any updates?
Yeah, I'm going to take a look west Knoxville again from our camera, the TIS, rather from downtown Knoxville Embassy Suites. And we are looking back due west. So again, this is what we were talking about. It would be very difficult to even see this because we don't have full sunshine overhead. We kind of have an overcast, but we also have very heavy rainfall with some of these cells. So it would be very difficult to see if there were any type of a lowering, any type of a funnel, or any type of a tornado visible with this. Now, we do want to point out, at this point, they have not extended the watch that was in place. It was scheduled to expire at 4 o'clock, and it has done so, but we are hearing that they're probably going to replace it with a new one. The tornado watch for the Cumberland Plateau, Fentress and Cumberland County, that goes until 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and then the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 9 o'clock Eastern, area shaded in orange. But I got a feeling they'll bridge the gap between these two, especially with that line in Middle Tennessee coming our way. But the one warning we're keeping an eye on right now is for Knox County that goes until 4:30. So let's go back and we'll talk about, again, that storm that we're keeping an eye on. Still rotation of the higher elevations, but weak in the low levels. That's what the Weather Service said. So exactly what we were just talking about. They're keeping an eye on this, as are we, and no doubt that we should be. But notice these additional cells that are starting to develop as well up through Anderson County, the east side near Norris. That'll be worth watching, heading up towards Norris Lake. If you know anybody that's on the lake, tell them some storms could be heading their way. But this is the main cell that we're watching right here. Again, that value has come down a little bit. It was up to a 3.7. That's kind of telling me, again, We're still seeing that rotation in some of the higher levels, but not so much in the lower levels. But I don't want that to think that you're any safer, okay? Because regardless, we need to keep a close eye on this. Again, you are fine at this point, Lenoir City, northern Loudoun County, even Roane County. So we could actually trim this watch back or warning back, and I think you're okay there. Even Farragut, you're fine at this point. It's say north of 40 that we'd have the greatest risk of this cell as it's moving north and east. So at this point, again, Roane County, you're fine for now. Loudoun County, fine for now. We'll keep an eye on this cell that's developing in northeast Anderson and the one back through Scott County. Looks like just heavy rainfall there right now. But this storm earlier did show at least some signs of some hail. We were seeing like a track right through there, some very small hails that came out of Roane into southern Anderson County. So yeah, there is a possibility it still could be producing some very small pea-sized hail with this, but I still think the biggest concern is going to be that rotation that we were noticing in some of the higher scans of the radar. I'm not seeing that now in some of the lower scans at this point, but I still want to keep an eye on it, especially right over HVA. It looks like maybe at least something could be right through there at the tail end of this cell. Let me just take a look. So yeah, it would be right through there. It's kind of misplaced from where the center of the storm would be. If we were seeing any rotation, I think it would be further to the west, back through here. Now that's a little better placed right through here. This may be it. If there's rotation. So that's right along the river there between Anderson and West Knox County. So tracking that, we're talking about Hardin Valley Middle, 420, could clip that. Solway, 421, Pellissippi State, the main campus, 421. Wexford Downs, 424. Wood Creek West at about 425. Again, that's moving east-northeast at about 26 miles per hour. So that would be the area we'd be keeping a close eye on there. But the warning itself, this goes until 4:30, 17 minutes. Margot, I've not seen any update as to if they're going to extend this. We'll see. I mean, we've still got 15 minutes or so, but I'll keep an eye on that. Anything else that you've noticed across the area? I'm sure, again, it's going to be really hard to see. It's very dark. There's a lot of thick cloud cover aloft. And even when it's raining, it's going to be hard to tell sometimes if you're seeing lowerings from the cloud or if it's just what we call scud clouds, where the rain, cooled air is falling down through the warmer layers closer to the surface. Unless it's rotating, then it's basically just going to be a scud cloud is what we see. But we still need to just keep a close eye on this, especially over the next, say, 15, 20 minutes or so, and see how this progresses over the next, say, 30 minutes or so. Margot?
Yeah, I agree, Ken. Definitely something to watch. Also, another area to watch, as we mentioned, Scott County, also seeing a pretty strong storm moving over that area. Just kind of want to query over here kind of the winds that are going on. So we're seeing kind of just in between the Coal Hill community as well as the Slick Rock community. Looks like from our base velocity scan right here, 59-mile-an-hour winds. So we're still seeing pretty gusty winds over there. It looks like it's just below that severe criteria, but we're going to keep a very close eye on this area as well. Again, this is in Scott County, just south of the Robbins Elementary School area and in between the Slick Rock and Coal Hill communities. Again, this is one of many storms that we are watching, kind of taking a zoomed out look again just to see what we're dealing with here in our area. We're dealing with that one warned storm in Knox County moving east, also moving through Anderson County. Going to keep a close eye on the one kind of near Kingston and Spring City, and then we have this big line. Let's take a look from our Nashville radar just to see what this line truly looks like from that perspective over there. Kind of seeing a very strong line moving on into Fentress County. Eventually this line is going to move on into Cumberland County and Morgan County. But again, we're keeping a very close eye on things that are coming into the area, especially everywhere kind of south of the Tennessee-Kentucky border, just because we have not seen anything earlier. And so we definitely have the atmosphere that is conducive to seeing these stronger storms. But again, this is a look from our Nashville radar. We're seeing this strong line moving through. And already in Middle Tennessee, we've gotten reports of penny-sized to pea-sized to even quarter-sized hail. We've seen lots of lightning with this system moving through, as well as very gusty winds, and those winds can cause damage, throw debris around, which is why even in a severe thunderstorm warning, we do want you to get to your safe areas, just because debris can be thrown around, even if it's not a tornado-warned storm. But again, we are watching everything closely, especially that one in Knox County, moving through the Hardin Valley community, the Oak Ridge community, just because it does have that tornado tag with it. And Ken is keeping a very close eye on that rotation, but I'm going to continue to watch the one that's moving through Scott County and also keep watch of that line as it makes its way into Fentress and Cumberland counties. Ken?
Keep an eye on really a lot of these that look quite interesting. The ones that all have like the little inflows at the bottom of them, like that one that's crossing over into Union County, this one in North Knox, the one that we have the warning on now that's right along the Anderson-Knox County border. All these kind of have that look, if you will, that they could be these supercellular type storms that are kind of off by themselves. They're not along a line like we had that moved along the Tennessee-Kentucky border earlier. So certainly worth watching this cell as it's pretty close to Pellissippi State around 419, Oak Ridge Estates 421, Carnes High at about 423, and the Ball Camp area at about 424. So there's Amherst, there's Claxton, that's going to be in Anderson County right there on the border. So that area is concerning. And I will say this brighter purplish color that's starting to show up, that's probably telling me we're going to have some hail within this cell right through there. So near Oak Ridge Estates, and our hail path will probably catch up and show that here shortly. But when you see that bright reflectivity like that, that's usually indicative that you're going to have some hail with that cell going through. I'm just getting an update here from the Weather Service. Looks like they're going to issue another warning out ahead of this one, and this is going to be for Anderson, Claiborne, Granger, Hamblin, Hancock, Hawkins, Jefferson, Knox, Union. Man, they're just going to warn on everything here, it looks like, with all these cells kind of moving through the area now. So there's the new warning that just came up. That's a pretty extensive warning, and it's with these couple of cells that we're keeping an eye on. So, Margot, I'm going to let you concentrate on those two to the north, the one coming out of Anderson into Union and in North Knox, if you'll do that for me. And I'm going to keep an eye on this one that's to the south that's just impacting right now pretty close to where Oak Ridge Highway splits there and comes together as you go back through West Knox County into Anderson County. So this would be that area of concern right there near Pellissippi State around 421, Wexford Downs 423, Carnes High at about 425. Again, this had shown at least some weak rotation with it right through here, and we're still kind of seeing that, at least in the higher elevations, maybe not so much in the lower elevations, which is fine. We don't want to see that, but something we'll keep an eye on. So Margot, talk me through some of those storms that are just a little farther north of this where that new warning just came out.
So in North Knoxville, actually something that's interesting, and I also want you to keep an eye on, Ken. This could just be our base velocity, but right here near Gibbs Elementary School, seeing some weak rotation in that area. But again, still seeing very gusty winds, and all of these severe warned storms do have that tornado tag possible with them. So that just means that these storms moving on through do have the possibility of having a quick spin up tornado alongside them. But again, I'm going to keep a very close eye kind of on the Gibbs Elementary School area right here. And this is that North Knox County storm that's moving on into Union County. And this warning lasts until 5 o'clock in the evening here. So again, a look at a reflectivity just to see what we're dealing with. We'll take even a zoomed in look just to see the communities that this storm is kind of impacting. So again, like I said, the Gibbs Elementary School area. Look, I zoomed in a little too far. Let's go home a little bit and zoom back in. So again, this is in the North Knoxville area, kind of going towards the Gibbs area. Again, this system is moving north and east. So again, if you're anywhere kind of near here, you need to make sure you're in your safe place. If your area is under that severe warned storm, that warning, you need to make sure you're getting into your safe place. So like I said, the Gibbs Elementary School area, let's kind of click on here, the Corrington area going towards Luttrell, as well as Blaine. Again, this is a warned storm lasting until 5 o'clock in the evening. Let's take a look kind of closer towards Scott County, where another storm is moving on through, and this storm is pretty gnarly as well. We're looking at very heavy rain, kind of closer towards the Stanley Junction area, just east of the Huntsville area and north of Fairview School. This storm is heading closer towards Royal Blue, heading towards Buckeye as well, and it's going to continue to trek east. So again, if you're near Wynn Elementary School, Peabody in Scott County, it's going towards Campbell. It's going to cross over towards Campbell County and move over that way. So again, we have multiple storms moving through. I'm going to throw back towards
Margo.
Ken.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell upstairs, go ahead and turn on the generator. Let's go ahead and get that fired up, guys, upstairs, please, just to make sure we don't go off the air. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure. Just an update as well. Got an update from Lady Vol softball game playing right now against Alabama. That has been delayed due to the storms in the area. So if you are joining us, we'll let you know. Worst part of these storms, again, are on the north side of Knox County, but they have a lightning radius that they deal with. If there's lightning within, I think it's 15 or 20 mile radius, they'll delay, and that's what they have done. But this is what we're talking about. It's going to be really hard to see if there were any type of a lowering tornado or some type of a funnel because of this heavy rainfall that we're seeing. This is the heavy rain over downtown Knoxville looking west. So this is all that we're seeing is back towards this. This is where that storm would be. So it would be really difficult to see it if it were actually in the area. So that's why we're saying don't be looking for any type of a funnel. Just go ahead and seek shelter again if the warning's issued for your area. I will say we are fine now, for now, Roane, Loudoun County. We can go ahead and take them out. Oak Ridge, you're doing okay. Hardin Valley, doing okay. Farragut, Boyd, you're okay for now. This is that little inflow area that we're keeping an eye on right through there with this storm as it's moving to the north and east. So I'll put a track on this for you. It's pretty close to Carnes Elementary School right about now. Notice how that value's come back up to a 4.1, grabbing my attention. So what we're seeing is at times this strengthens a little bit and weakens a little bit. Strengthens, weakens, goes back and forth. But this severe thunderstorm warning goes for another 7 minutes. I'm assuming they'll probably re-add at least downtown Knoxville north to this and add on to the system going up north with these other individual cells. But this one certainly has my attention right over the Carnes area now. Right over Carnes, the elementary and middle school now. Golden Meadows, that's going to be pretty close there. Camelot, King Arthur Court 427, Carpenter Ridge 428, Meadowbrook 428 as well. And that's moving northeast at 26. Kind of that classic signature that we see sometimes. We call it a hook echo that's showing up there. Not seeing that tight rotation down towards the surface, but certainly worth watching. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be some hail right through there where that pink is showing up. And you can see our hail path from the past hour showing where there could be hail or had fallen. And I think that's a pretty good indication that's the case. The storms to the north as well, like the one Margo's watching near Gibbs and the Corryton community, that probably has some hail with it as well. But Margo, anything else you're seeing with those storms to the north? Our warning officially goes here till 6 minutes. What I'm going to do is let you talk about that, and I'm going to see if they're going to extend this warning any further across our area, okay?
Ken, for the one that's in North Knoxville, traveling kind of closer towards Granger, this one lasts until 5 o'clock our time. So we have about 30 more minutes left. Right now we're seeing some heavier rain passing over the Corrington area. Next up would be Luttrell around 4:35, so in the next 10 minutes. Going towards Richland about 4:39, and then we have Highland Springs around 4:45 p.m. Now, yeah, so they extended it. What? Okay, the one for Knox. So they're extending this. Again, this storm system kind of just popped up. We're keeping a very close eye on it, especially because it's been having very broad rotation associated with it, especially in the higher levels and the mid levels. Now, right now on this storm, Ken, that's passing kind of over the Corrington area, not too concerned with it. The VTI is kind of sitting at a 1.4, so definitely not as high, that which is a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. But again, if you're in these severe warnings, we do recommend that you get into your safe place just because because these areas are seeing pretty gusty winds. Let's kind of take a look at that base velocity, kind of seeing some pretty gusty winds near the East Knox County Elementary School area. That's heading towards the Blaine area, again heading towards the Luttrell area. Taking a zoomed out look, again we're watching multiple areas of storms moving through, and one of the other areas kind of closer towards the Scott County and the Campbell County area. Now this storm system is not being warned on just yet, but we're going to keep a very close eye just because some of these areas again have not been run over by storms already, which just makes them more conducive of seeing stronger storms. And it looks like if we take kind of a look from our Nashville radar kind of closer towards Cumberland, we're seeing another storm entering into our area kind of just south of the Crossville area. So we have a lot going on right now. And again, these areas have not been run over yet, which makes them more conducive of becoming strong to even severe. So we're going to keep an eye on everything that moves on through. Again, we are watching kind of this line just back out west of us as it makes its way through here. But right now we're watching these kind of single-celled storms as they move on in. And it looks like, Ken, they just put a warning on this storm system moving in from close to the Cleveland area for Monroe and McMinn counties, heading towards Tellico Plains and Madisonville. This severe warning storm lasts until 5:15 p.m. Let's take a kind of zoomed in look. We're going to look from our high tops radar right there just because it is closer, in fact. But this storm does look like it has some heavy rain associated with it, and definitely something to keep our eyes on, especially kind of going towards Benton Springs. I know that's not a part of our area just yet, but again, it's going to head kind of closer towards Monroe and McMinn counties. So just be aware of that. This is lasting until 5:15 p.m. So now we have, what, 4 or 5 warning storms, Ken?
Yeah, and I'm turning the camera just a little bit here in downtown Knoxville to look west. Again, you see some brightening here, and what that is that's the rain-free area, but over here is where we do have the rain. And I'm wondering if that's that little lowering that we could be seeing right there. That would be pretty close to where that storm cell is. So we're going to keep a close eye on that if we can. Just this little lowering. Just want to keep an eye on that. That would be that cell that we're watching now in West Knox County that's moving north and east. And it's shown some pretty interesting characteristics really the past little bit. It's right through there. You can kind of see this, we call it an inflow notch. So there's probably some broad rotation, or at least that lowering with it like we've seen. And this is going to be moving northeast. So here's downtown Knoxville. So we're looking back towards that. There's going to be some hail with that most likely. It's near Ridgedale, 429, Pleasant Ridge, 430, Cherokee Ridge, 431, River's Edge Christian Academy at 431 as well. So let's go ahead and make sure we're in our safe area as this storm is moving through. They did go ahead and clear the warning back here that was for West Knox, Roane, and Loudoun counties, but they extended it further east until 5:15. Due to this cell that's moving to the north and east. And Margot talked about the storms to the south as well. We'll keep an eye on these, McMinn, Monroe counties heading north and east. These warnings go until 5:15. But honestly, the closer ones to our viewing area, the most populated ones are the cells here. The one that's crossing over between North Knox and Union County, there's going to be some small hail there. There's hail with this one. I see that little appendage as well, very close to Norris Lake. That has come up to a 3.2. So near Union County High, 435, Horace Maynard, that's a middle school, 436, Maynardville itself at 437, Lickskillet at 439, Rose Hill 443. We'll keep an eye on that storm. The one in North Knox as well that's just about to cross over into southeastern Union County. That's going to be near Coreyton Elementary and the Coreyton community at 430. So that's north of House Mountain. Luttrell 438, Blaine 439, Powder Springs at 448. But this one, certainly one to be keeping an eye on right here. There's the update. This is tracking a little more eastward. It's not what we want to see. You don't want to see those kind of get away from the main steering flow, which is usually off towards the north and east, and this one's moving more east. So right through there, that's where we'd be looking into that storm. You can see what we're talking about, very heavy rainfall, so it may be difficult to actually see if there is some type of a lowering, but it would be right through there. That would be looking almost due west. So this is that cell that's going to be coming this direction. So Emily upstairs, I don't know, this is on 3. I want to put this on 2 as well, or on 1. Let me put it on 1. And if you happen to see something of interest, just please let me know. But it's on weather camera 1 now, so just keep an eye on that if we can across the area. So let me go back. It would be with this cell. So we're downtown Knoxville right here, and we're looking due west into that little appendage or that little lowering. Emily, I don't even know if we can do like a split screen. If we could, let's try to do that. That would be great. But this is certainly going to be producing some hail on the north side of this cell. So right along I-75, we're talking about Cherokee Ridge to Powell Elementary, Sturkey Elementary. You're probably seeing some pretty decent size hail with this right now. So Cherokee Ridge, Bellbridge, Powell. It's going to cross I-75, Cedar Flats, Sturkey, Inskip. That's going to be some pretty decent hail with that as that comes through, I'm willing to bet. In fact, let's look at our hail path. Yeah, it's really blossomed in the past little bit. So that's telling me that updraft is spinning more. You're getting more rising air with this. You're producing that hail, and we're seeing some of that hail fall. So we've been seeing reports of hail, obviously, with our computer here over the past few scans. That would be from Amherst Elementary area towards the north and east. But the biggest concern would be these little appendages that we see on the back edge of this storm. Let's see if it's showing any shear. Nothing jumping out at me at this time, which is great. But it would be right through there. Rain here at our studios. I can hear it overhead. But that cell right there, it's showing 100% chance that there is hail with this. We've probably seen that looking at the radar, and about an 80% chance that it's 1 inch in diameter or greater. So that is certainly possible. Matt Condon, our meteorologist, says there's hail in Knox County. Verification there. Heads up, Dainty, you're about to get some of that. It's heading your direction. So right now, Pleasant Ridge. This is going to be also near River's Edge Christian Academy, 434, Northwest Middle, 435, Cherrybrook, 436. Again, that one's still a bit of a concern. Margot, let's go areas to the north. Let me know what else you're seeing in those storms. We don't want to neglect those that are kind of making their way up towards Granger County as well.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of looking towards Scotts County still, kind of just south of Oneida. The last scan did show 60-mile-an-hour winds, so we're seeing winds gusting up that quickly over in that area. So you need to make sure you're getting in your safe zone. Even though we're not warned over here, you need to, again, make sure you're getting in your safe zone, especially with those winds gusting up that quickly. I just saw kind of an update. They're watching closer towards our south. Again, we're watching closer towards our south, especially towards McMinn and Monroe counties, as this storm system that's heading towards Tellico Plains and Madisonville continues to get closer and closer. We're going to look from our high tops radar just to get a better image of what's going on kind of just south of us. Again, seeing very heavy rain with all of these storms moving through, and again, hail being present here in Knox County with that storm moving through. So again, Benton Springs, I know that's not in our area, but again, it's heading towards Madisonville, Athens, soon areas like Belleville Estates around 4:56. This warning's lasting until 5:15. And again, we're going to keep a very close eye on everything that's going on throughout the entire area. But kind of just zooming on out, just seeing all what we're dealing with, kind of taking a look from our Morristown radar, clearing all these numbers here real fast. Again, we're dealing with some showers and storms moving through Knox County, continuing to trek east. Ken is keeping a very close eye on that just because we're still dealing with broad rotation. But back behind those storms, so areas like Hardin Valley, Farragut, you guys saw that storm initially. Well, we're about to see some more storms move on in to your area, because if we kind of take a closer look towards Roane and Loudoun counties, zooming in kind of towards the Kingston the Kingston area and the Harriman area, we're seeing some heavier showers near Rockwood, seeing some heavier showers moving towards Fairfield Glade and moving through Crossville. Ken, if we can get the Crossville camera or the Fairfield Glade camera pulled up on one of our channels, that'd be great. But again, we're seeing some very, very heavy rain on those on this scan. But again, we're going to keep our eyes very, very closely on our Knox County warned storms, just because we're seeing that very broad rotation. And again, we're going to keep you updated, and that Tennessee-Alabama softball game has been delayed. So, Ken?
Yeah, Margo, hearing some hail probably here on our studios, and again, we're looking back into it. This would be the hail shaft over here to the right. What we'll be keeping an eye on is this little bit of a lowering that's on the back side of this storm right through here. The little tail appendage there on it. I don't see anything other than rain, thankfully, falling from the base of that cloud, but this is where the hail is following on the north side of this storm. The hail's preceding what would be if there was any type of rotation on the back side of this. So we'll keep an eye on this, the camera view that we have there, but I also want to just show you what the radar looks like to kind of put it in perspective. So we're downtown, we're seeing that little lowering, not much of one, it's not a full lowering, but that's where it would be. But then on the north side of the storm up I-75, where you see the dark shading, the black coloring almost on there, that's where the hail core would be. So we got the split screen now, so you can see here on the other side, that's what we're looking at. We're looking into this storm right through here. So we're downtown looking back towards that. And I don't see, at least initially, any type of a lowering coming from this, like a tornado coming down, which is great to see. But we will watch it. Severe thunderstorm warning continues. We're talking about the Expo Center along Clinton Highway at 437, Black Oak 439, Inskip 440, Lonsdale and the elementary school around 440. Same with Inskip and the Coster Yards. That's where the trains are over there along 275, the train yard there. So that's moving east at about 30 miles per hour. Good chance that there's hail with this, showing 100% chance there's hail, but an 80% chance that there's severe hail, or 1 inch in diameter or greater. I want to take that other camera if we can. Emily, I don't know if we can take that full screen for just a second. I want to kind of get a look at a better view of that. She'll try to work on that, our director upstairs, to kind of look. There we go. So that's kind of that would be what's rotating, the base of that cloud. That would be where our rotation would be, but I don't see anything extending downward closer to the ground from that, thankfully. Yes, Margo.
Near Emory Road in Knoxville.
Okay, makes total sense. So we've got a report of some quarter-size hail, Emory Road area. That's going to be on the north side of Knoxville, going up Knox County. As you're going out, we got some video of it. Let me know, Dominic, when you get that, and we'll put that up. But again, this certainly is worth watching. It's a pretty large cell all by itself here that's kind of making its way right across the north side of Knoxville. Inskip right about 440. We'll keep an eye on that. Again, I don't see anything extremely jumping out at me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this camera and I'm going to turn it just a little bit further to the north and east now. Okay, give me 1 second, Dominic, and we'll have that ready to go. I'm going to move just a little further north, just to make sure I don't see anything descending from the cloud. All right, so I'm going to keep the camera right about there. It's just a kind of a ragged wall cloud is what we call it. There's nothing immediately jumping out and saying, hey, this is a huge concern, but we will definitely be watching that for sure. Looks like a new severe thunderstorm watch just came out for our area that goes until 9 o'clock as well. So keep this up for just a second. And what we'll do is I'm going to show you the watch that we now have. Okay, if you can come back to the on screen here, and we'll keep an eye on that camera. So this goes until 9 o'clock. New severe thunderstorm watch encompasses basically the entire area now, and the tornado watch goes until 7 Central. So mainly just going to be a tornado watch, but as we've seen, these storms, some of them have been rotating, and that could prompt tornado warning. So we will keep a close eye on that. Emily, I'm going to let you go back to picture-in-picture if we can of this cell when you get a chance. But let me bring you up to date with what we're looking at here. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County that goes until 5:15, and it's mainly with this cell that we've been tracking this entire time that we've been on the air here. Showing the possibility of some hail for sure. We've seen that. I think we have the video of that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Let me know. I'll talk about that here in a second. But we're talking about Whittle Springs Middle 442, Christenberry Elementary 443, Sturkey at 443, Fountain City 444. So Fountain City Lake, Duck Pond area. Okay, let me know what this video is, if you don't mind. Tell me where it is again. Dominic? Okay, this is video from Powell. So that's in North Knox County. A little hard to see the size of it, but I would say maybe at least penny-sized hail.
Morning in Roane going into, looks
Okay.
like it's just for Roane County.
Okay.
It's by the Rockwood area. I've been watching that. I was about to mention that rotation over by the Harriman area.
Okay, so a new tornado warning has just come out. Let's go ahead and go on air as well. Let me know when we're on air. If you can go ahead and contact the hub, and we'll be ready for this. Okay, so new tornado warning. This is going to be in Roane County, right over the Rockwood area right now. Going to cross over Interstate 40 shortly. So heads up, Shenandoah Estates at 446, College Grove 449, and even Roane State Community College as well at about 449. So again, Margot, make sure you're using storm relative on these.
Yeah.
So watching this cell, there it would be just south of the Rockwood area, pretty close to the river. So Anglers Cove, Midtown Elementary, Harriman, please make sure you're in your safe spot. If you live in and around Roane State Community College, we want to make sure you're in your safe spot as well. But the circulation would be right over Rockwood as we speak. So this is Interstate 40, this gold line that's running from west to east, coming out of Cumberland into Roane County. That's where that cell would be. Margo, I'm going to let you continue to focus on the Knox County storm, but I'm going to take a look at this one when we're coming up here on WATE as well. Y'all just let me know. All right, sorry to interrupt the hockey game. We have a tornado warning now that's in effect for Roane County. It's going to be very close to Rockwood, headed towards Harriman, Kingston, Harriman. Please let's make sure you're in your safe spot. This is Interstate 40 going right through here. This tornado warning goes until 5:30. Again, it's our policy. If there are tornado warnings in our viewing area, we stay on the air till that threat's over. I know you probably want to see the hockey game, some of you, but we've got to make sure people are safe. This is kind of a serious situation. We've seen numerous storms that have been developing over the past couple of hours, just well out ahead of a line that's back into Middle Tennessee. And when you see this, oftentimes they take on the characteristics where you could see tornadoes. So tight circulation starting to show up there near the Rockwood area. So it's moving north and east. So heads up, Harbin 448, Webster same time frame, College Grove 451, and even Roane State Community College at about 451. It shows that it's moving kind of east-northeast at about 25 miles per hour, something we will certainly keep a close eye on. But this tornado warning for Roane County goes until 5:30. We've also been watching numerous storms that have been making their way through downtown Knoxville, especially on the north side. We've had reports of hail with this, and we have at least seen some broad rotation with this cell that's tracking on the north side right along Interstate 640 as we speak. It's close to Lonsdale, about 446. Coster Yards, where the railroads on 275 are, at 447, and Christenberry the same time. We've got heavy rain over our studios as well, and we've probably heard some small hail, but it's for this area right through here that we're keeping an eye on. There could be a tornado. Right now it's radar indicated, but we need to make sure you're in your safe spot there in Roane County. Again, the gold line you see, that's Interstate 40. There's Rockwood, there's Midtown Elementary, Harriman, and also Oakdale. So if you know where these areas are and you're in the path of this, let's please make sure you're in your safe spot just in case. There's some tight rotation with that storm as it's just east of the Rockwood area now as we speak. But these aren't the only storms that we are watching. Meteorologist Margo Altschuler here with me as well. And Margo, need to focus on the ones also into Knox County as well.
Yeah, and you can definitely hear the ones in Knox County on our microphones coming over the studio right now. Very heavy rain. We also have heard reports of hail. This is a look at that storm system passing through Knox County right now, actually downtown Knoxville, keeping a very close eye on the winds associated with this storm, as well as seeing some very, very broad rotation. Not too concerned with it, but going to keep an eye on it with this system moving through. So just know that if you're kind kind of near the North Knoxville area, you're up next. This warning does last until 5:15, so we have about another 30 minutes with this warning. And this warning does have a tornado tag possible with it. So that just means that this system moving through does have the possibility of forming a tornado. We're going to see that a lot with these storms passing through our area, especially because we have not seen anything kind of run over us. But again, a look from our Knox County kind of warning right now. Next would be Bell Morris Elementary, then Fulton High School around 446. So here in the next minute, North Hills after that, then Smithwood. It's going to continue to trek east and northeast, and we actually already have multiple warnings ahead of this system. If we could possibly take a look, Emily in the booth or Dominic in the booth, kind of from our Embassy Suites tower camera, just to see kind of how heavy that rain is in downtown Knoxville. And also I'm going to keep a very close eye on this back end, Ken, that's moving kind of from over the downtown Knoxville area. But again, we do have that tornado warned storm in Roane County. It is moving east, keeping a very close eye on the one moving over downtown Knoxville. And we do again have heavy rain and hail associated with these storms. Ken?
Looking back northeast, you can see just how heavy that rain is with this cell. Now we're kind of looking back towards the northeast. And that's on that tail end of that storm that's now making its way through Knox County. But let's get back to Roane County real quick. I want to show you this tornado warning that we have. The area that we're keeping an eye on would be east of Rockwood and south of Harriman and west of Kingston. So if you're in Harriman, you're in Kingston, I want you to make sure you're in your safe spot. This could be crossing Interstate 40 shortly. It's been moving northeast. I want to look something real quick. Let's look inside here. Yeah, so there's our shear. You can see it showing up pretty tightly right through here. So it would be right through here, moving northeast. It was at about 30. So anywhere near Roane State Community College, 450. Circle M, 452. Midtown Elementary at 452. Brown Ellis, 453. Midtown Heights, the same at about 453. So Dodson, it's right on top of you right now. Please make sure you're in your safe spot. But you can see where that rotation is showing up here with our radar scan right through here, where the red and green are right beside each other. That would be the most likely area if there was a tornado. That would be the spot that we'd be watching. And again, this tornado warning goes until 5:30. I know, again, we're interrupting the hockey game, but it's our policy that we stay on the air if there's a tornado warning in our area, especially something that's this significant across the region. We have additional severe thunderstorms as well across our area that we're keeping an eye on, and we need to continue to do so. And this isn't the only opportunity. These storms coming through now, there's another line that's back into Middle Tennessee that will come through, and then there's another opportunity of some storms overnight tonight that could make their way through. So, let's hope that we don't have any issues here. Austin, I'm going to let you, if you don't mind, go check Roane County's TDOT cameras over here and just see if you have anything that we can take a look at. Austin's going to do that. Austin Martin, our anchor, is here, and he's going to take a look at that just to see if we can see anything. I'm not sure exactly. The cameras may be a little too far west of where the cell is, but maybe we'd at least have something on it. But again, let's take a look at this cell that we're watching. Pretty close to the high school around 5:04, Harriman at 5:02, West Hills at about 5 o'clock, as this is making its way pretty close to Roane State Community College as we speak and about to cross over the interstate. Again, that cell right through here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so we can kind of get an idea.
Hey, Ken, we have another tornado warning in Granger, Hamblin, and Jefferson.
Okay, I want you to focus on that, and we're going to get to Margot in just a minute. We'll have more updates on that. But again, I think we're going to continue to see these warnings come out as these storms continue to develop and move to the north and east. So right through here is where we're looking, right there, that circulation right through there. So we're talking about now, the Midtown area, same thing with the elementary school. It'll be at West Shore Estates at 452, Glen Wright 452, Ponderosa at 453. And again, right, that little inflow notch that we're seeing, that's where the rotation would be. So pretty close to Webster, Roane State Community College is where that storm looks like the worst part of that would be. Most likely going to be some hail with these as well. That's what the bright pink showing up is. So you're going to get hail that's ahead of this. And then you could see some rotation, possible tornado on the backside of it. So there's our updated scan. I've got the latest track sitting right on here. So again, we're talking about Brown Ellis 452, Montcrest 453, Ponderosa 453. 53 as well. Margot's going to talk about the new tornado warnings that we have that have just been added a little further to the north and east. Margot?
Yeah, Ken, this is associated with that storm system that passed over kind of North Knox County and kept traveling east. Now this is a tornado warning for Hamblin, Granger, and Jefferson until 5:30. So we have about an hour or so with this warning. And again, this is near the Lee Springs area, and it again is going to move east. So if you're closer towards the Highland Springs area here in the next 10 minutes, this storm system is going to be over your area. Next up, we'd have Buffalo Springs, then Sycamore Spring, Sunset, and Louisville. Now again, this is a tornado warned storm near Lee Springs. If we take a look at our storm relative velocities, it's really, really dark right here. This is showcasing kind of that darker kind of rotation, indicating to us that there is something going on right there. Again, if you're near the Lee Springs area, you need to make sure you are taking cover now. Next up would be New Corinth, then Joppa Elementary School. Next up is Rutledge, even kind of closer towards the Cherokee area, and then the Oakland area. Continue to go kind of east. Next would be Bowen, Beans, Boggs, Hammer Store, Buffalo Springs. Again, watching this rotation right here, you can see the green and the red kind of going in a circle. That green is going again east. We're watching this tornado warned storm. It's right now in Granger County, moving towards Hamblin, Hamblin and Jefferson counties. And again, it's warned until 5:30. We're going to keep a close eye on this, and this is not our only tornado warned storm. We also have one in Roane County passing over 40. But again, this is another tornado warned storm, and it's near Lee Springs, Parish Hollow, again moving east. So next up, Buffalo Springs, Hammer Store, Joppa, Sunset, even Rutledge. So make sure you're taking cover now. This is a tornado warned storm. We're going to act like it is on the ground. Again, it's the centermost location in your home, preferably a basement. But if you don't have a basement, a closet, a bathroom with no windows works just fine. And again, we have a tornado warned storm for Granger, Jefferson, and Hamblin counties until 5:30. Ken?
And we're keeping an eye on this one storm that's making its way on the east side of Knox County. It looks like it's definitely going to be a hail-producing storm still. So head us up Carter, Mascot, this brighter pink into the dark black shading. That's going to be where your hail core would be. Not seeing the tight rotation like we had earlier with this storm, but still don't want to discount it. Again, this warning goes for a little bit longer here. Heads up Caswell, that's going to be around 5:20, 4:55 rather. John Sevier, 4:58. Carter Elementary at 5:02, and Antioch around 5:04 with that cell. Margot was talking about the ones to the north. Let's go back down. We're still going to talk about the one that we have back into Roane County, pretty close to Interstate 40 right now. Rockwood, you've been cleared from the warning, but it still goes until 5:30 now, and that's going to be for basically the northeast side of Roane County. It doesn't include areas a little further to the north of it at this point. Anderson County, we'll keep an eye on it. So this is the Anderson County border. This is the portion of Roane County, kind of like north central Roane County, right between Kingston and Harriman. That's where the warning still is at this time. Let's just look inside. I want to make sure we're still seeing some shear or rotation. It's right along Interstate 40, actually, as we speak. I'll zoom in a little closer here. And it's right there, right where the green and red are next to each other. That would be our biggest concern for this storm. So right through here, moving at about 30 miles per hour. So right about Roane County High School now. Oak Hills, 455. Looks like it's near Lakeshore, 457. Cherokee Middle, 457. And Kingston Elementary at about 458. Again, it's a little less broad rotation than what it was earlier. We had some really strong rotation right when that warning came out, but still don't want to discount that. It's still showing some rotation at this point, so they're continuing the warning. It's cleared for the Rockwood area, so you're okay right now, Rockwood, but additional storms could still develop as we go through the afternoon. In fact, let me just quickly show you how active it is across the area. Heavy rainfall making its way in Cumberland County right now, and then we have these individual cells we continue to watch. it's extreme southern Monroe County. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, but the bulk of that storm with the hail is making its way over towards western North Carolina. So really the main ones we're keeping an eye on, the one Margot's tracking that's to the north, right along the Granger, Hamlin, Jefferson County border, and then the one in Roane County. So Margot, any updates on the storm you're watching up to the north?
The rotation looks like it's trying to strengthen, Ken. Again, this is near the Tampico area, going towards Buffalo Springs, eventually Hammerstore, and continuing to trek north and east. Again, this is for Hamlin, Granger, and Jefferson counties. A tornado warning lasting until 5:30. Kind of putting a track on this again, where you can see kind of the lighter green and the red right here. That's where we're seeing kind of those that rotation trying to tighten up. So the next up would be Buffalo Springs around 5:02. Go ahead, get in your safe place. Same with Sunset. Next would be Cherokee, and again Hammerstore, Shiloh. Go ahead and get in your safe place. Again, we've been watching this storm system since it passed over Knox County, and again it's continuing to trek east. But we're going to keep a very close eye on it just to kind of look at the reflectivity. It is rain wrapped. You cannot see this rotation that's going on. Do not try to see. Again, we need you to get into your safe place. Seeing very heavy rains associated with it, as well as hail. Kind of taking a look at the hail path. It's had hail up until close to Buffalo Springs. A look kind of at a new skit there. Again, next up would be Oakland, Shiloh, Hammerstore, Patterson Hills, Wilderness Shores, and Point 7. Again, this is close to Hamlin, Jefferson, and Granger counties. Again, this is a tornado warning storm until 5:30 this evening. So we have about 30 minutes left with this storm. So you need to make sure you're getting in your safe place. Again, that's the centermost location of your home, either a closet or even a bathroom with no windows, preferably a basement. But again, we're watching this system move through. Next up again is Buffalo Springs, then going towards Big Q Estates, eventually passing Oakland as well. So again, we're going to keep a very close eye on that, but Ken, that rotation does seem to be tightening.
Yeah, got reported some hail in the Holston Hills area. Looks like it's about the size of a nickel, so that would make sense. I'm taking a look at Cumberland County and Crossville. Heavy rain here. We don't have any warnings at this point, but I wanted to show you what it looks like there. And we'll also take a look at Fairfield Glade. You can see that very heavy rain just pounding the area there. Quick look, this is McLeod Mountain in Campbell County. We're looking back towards the south and east. Look how fast the clouds are moving over the area here. So just showing you how quickly these storms are moving through the area. But we want to get back to Roane County quickly, and I'll show you that tornado warning that we still have in place for Roane County. We'll go a little bit further to the south here. And it's going to be with this cell, pretty close to Interstate 40, right there between Kingston and Harriman. This warning goes until 5:30, so another 30 minutes from right now. And the worst part of the storm, probably right through here. So we're going to put it near Holiday Shores at 4:59, Sugar Grove 5:02. Then we're kind of getting beyond where this warning is. We'll see if they extend it. Lawnville 5:03, Ladd Estates 5:04, and Century Acres at about 5:05. But again, looks like they just extended now. They're going to turn it into a severe thunderstorm warning, probably with a tornado tag, we call it, meaning that a tornado is possible with this cell. So the new warning, as you can see, extended a little further north. Now that's going to go into Roane and Anderson counties until 5:45. So we're still talking 30, 45 minutes from right now. And it's going to come right back into the area that just had the previous storm go through. We're talking West Knox County, the Hardin Valley area, back through Oak Ridge. So it definitely looks a little more ragged compared to what it was just a little bit ago. Let's take a look. Still very broad rotation, but compared to what it was looking like earlier when they issued the tornado warning, it still has some broad rotation with it. So I see why they just extended it and now made it a severe thunderstorm warning, but again has that potential tag that it could be a tornado. So we need to stay in our safe spot here with this cell. I'll put a track on it again, moving at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So it's going to be near Riverbend 5:03. Looks like Century Acres 5:05, Rogers Ridge at 5:09, and Orchard Valley at about 5:10. So it's really right between the Harriman and Kingston area as we speak. The new severe thunderstorm warning goes until 5:45. The tornado warning continues until 5:30, until this cell kind of gets out of where that area is. Margot, what are you seeing those storms up to the north? We want to focus on that tornado warning as well.
Yeah, Ken, this tornado warning still going until 5:30. Again, Granger, Hamblin, and Jefferson. Right now, it's kind of in the Granger County area, just near Buffalo Springs and Hammerstore. You can see this kind of rotation where the lighter red and the lighter green is right here, kind of rotating, moving east. Again, next up would be Big Q Estates, Hammerstore, Wani Village. And again, there's a new update on that scan. It's right over Buffalo Springs. Buffalo Springs, you need to be in your safe place right now. It's going to continue to trek, and it's actually getting closer to the radar. So we're going to have to look very, very closely at this system moving on through. But we are going to treat it as if this storm is on the ground, as if there's a tornado on the ground. So again, Buffalo Springs, get in your safe zone. Shiloh, get in your safe zone. Wani Village, get in your safe zone. Same with Big Q Estates, then Helton, even Rutledge, go ahead, get in your safe zone. We are going to watch everything moving forward. But again, this tornado warning is lasting until 5:30, kind of taking a look at our shear rates just to see how tight that rotation got near Buffalo Springs. You can see that deep red and that green. Ken?
All right, thanks a lot, Margot. We're just getting an update from the Weather Service here, some things we're keeping an eye on. Tornado warning for Campbell, Scott, and Union. Looks like that's coming out now. Let's take a look at where they're watching. There it is, right through here. So there's our new storm, right through a couple of areas. I'd say the worst part looks to be right about here, north of La Follette. So here's our new tornado warning. This goes until 5:45, and we'll put a track right there near La Follette. It's going to be near the elementary school about 5:04, Peabody 5:09, McLeod Mountain, where our camera's located, 5:09, so we'll keep an eye on that. Valley View 5:12, Wind Community at 5:13, and it's moving very quickly. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our camera. So this, you won't be able to see it, and this is kind of the point we've been saying. There's so much moisture in the air. There's a lot of rain. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to see any type of a funnel, if there is one, or any type of a tornado if it is touching down. So it's going to be extremely difficult to see. So one, don't be waiting for that. If a warning is issued in your area, let's go ahead and make sure we're taking shelter. A couple of areas I bet that they're keeping an eye on right there, maybe near Caravel. That's showing some rotation. North of Brookside, heads up Hickey and Caravel. Looks like it's near your area. Smoky Junction 5:05, Pee Wee 5:11, Caravel 5:19, Cove Lake Estates about 5:20. This is moving northeast at about 26 miles per hour. So there's our tornado warning for Campbell County. That goes until 5:45, and it is going to clip at least northern sections of Union County. That's extreme northwest, but this is mainly going to be Campbell County, and it's two different cells that we're watching. One near La Follette, one west of the Caravel area about to cross I-75. So here's the second one we're keeping an eye on. La Follette Elementary 5:04, Kilsyth, looks like it's going to be in your area right about 5:09. Duff 5:12, La Follette Middle at about 5:13, Alder Springs at 5:14 as well. And then we'll watch the cell on the backside of this as well, right through here. Pee Wee at 5:10. That's about 8 minutes from right now. Also, it's going to be very close to Caravel. Heads up in your area as that storm's making its way towards you at 5:16, and Cove Lake at about 5:17. These will also most likely have some hail. I don't see a signature indicating very large hail with some of these storms that are making their way through Campbell County, but I would imagine there's at least some. And if we take a look, you can see the past hour we've seen at least some hail in some of these. But kind of the biggest thing we'll be watching is where are we seeing the rotation with some of these storms, and they are in numerous spots. The one right there on the border, it's kind of almost just outside of where the Campbell County warning is, but also near La Follette as well. Let's get a wider perspective. We'll talk about the storm back into Roane County. I want to look at this, and then Margot, you can focus on the one up near Hamlin County. Looks like the warning, it's almost out of the warned area now, the tornado warning we had in Roane County, but still need to keep an eye on this. The severe thunderstorm warning has been extended, and that goes all the way into West Knox County, but it has what we call a tornado tag on it, meaning that it's possible we could see a tornado with this cell as well, as it has had a history. So they expired the tornado warning in Roane County, but still a severe thunderstorm warning on this. as it's making its way to the north and east. So Christ about 507, Orchard Valley at about 511, that's a subdivision, Heartland Estates subdivision 513, and Jonesville at 514 as this makes its way through portions of Roane County, getting close to Anderson County. Margot, you focusing on those storms to the north that have warnings on them as well?
I am, and Ken, also I want to apologize for those who are trying to watch the hockey game. We have to be on air, especially when there are tornado warnings in our area, but as soon as these are off, we will get back to that hockey game. Again, I am watching that tornado warning moving through Granger County. Ken, I do want to point out to kind of keep a look towards our southern valley as well, Tellico Plains, Madisonville. I did see something there, but again, I'm watching kind of closer towards Granger County. It's actually heading towards the Morristown area. We're seeing this kind of rotation near the Cherokee area right here, the Cherokee community that's just south of Hammer Store. This is heading towards Big Q Estates, and it's going to continue to trek east, again, passing that radar near Morristown. So again, if you are in the Cherokee area as well as Big Q Estates, you need to get into your safe place now. Next up, let's kind of take a look at what's next up on this area right here. Again, it's near Cherokee. It's going to move towards Big Q Estates, eventually moving towards Crosby. Then Fairview, Marguerite Elementary. Again, we're watching everything, but this storm system moving over kind of like the Shiloh area, soon will be near Wani Village. Next up would be Woodcrest Hills, as well as Lake Forest Estates. Again, Big Q Estates, Rambling Hills, and Boggs. Now we are watching this rotation. It's becoming a little tighter, especially as it gets closer towards that radar, Ken. But again, this is one of the many storms that we're going to be watching over the course of the next couple of hours, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope that after this line goes through, maybe it stabilizes the air just a little bit, but there's still going to be an opportunity for a line of storms to come through during the overnight hours after sunset, before sunrise, that could produce some damaging wind gusts as that comes through. But I want to show you just a wide perspective. This is why we're on the air. A couple of tornado warnings that we're talking about, numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. So even though it's not in your area, that potential is still going to be there over the next several hours at least to see these severe thunderstorms rolling through. I'll keep an eye on this one as well that's in Sevier County, about to go over into Cocke County. And this one that's just below where our warning is, going into Granger County, kind of clipping Jefferson and Granger counties. This one's worth watching. Blue Springs Christian Academy, looks like it's in your area on 509, Friends Station 517, New Market 520, Jefferson County Middle at 524 as well. That's a severe thunderstorm warning, but at least showing some signs of some rotation with it. You can see right through there where our track is, making its way north and east. So we're right on the Sevier County border. In fact, that would be pretty close to exit 407, where you get off to go to the Buc-ee's area and the ball field. So we're looking north towards that. That's where that one cell would be. And then the one that Margot's been keeping an eye on right through here, rotation would be pretty close between Jefferson City and Morristown. Looks like the new warning has just come out for that cell that I was keeping an eye on, and that's a severe thunderstorm warning. So headed towards Dandridge and Bainbury, that one has just been updated. That goes until 5:45 as well. So severe thunderstorm warning there, tornado warning there. Let's focus on the tornado warning back here that's especially near the La Follette area. So heads up La Follette Middle around 514, Alder 516, Flat Hollow 523, and White Hollow around 527 as this is moving east at about 30 miles per hour. At minimum, you're going to see winds probably gusting 50 to 60 miles per hour with this as this is going through. But can't rule out the possibility of a quick spin-up type tornado, which we have seen with some of these cells earlier today across the region. So again, the circulation probably very close to the Follette Middle School area right now. And we're definitely seeing some very heavy rainfall. That's going to be the other problem we mentioned with these. You're not going to be able to see if there is a funnel or if there is an actual tornado with these because such heavy rainfall. There's so much moisture in the atmosphere with these storms coming through. But it looks like the worst part of this storm be just south of the Caravel area. We'll keep a track right through here. There's no tornado warning on the southern part of this, but I still want to keep an eye on this. This would cross over into portions of Anderson County. So right on the Anderson and Blount County border, right along Interstate 75. So we're going back through the Rocky Top area, heading towards Caravel. That's where that second part, the southern part of that storm would be. So we're talking about Beech Grove at 518, Caravel 520, and looks like Cove Lake Estates That's going to be right around 521. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But I'd say the worst part where that warning has been prompted is right there near the middle school of La Follette, 513, Flat Hollow 522, Russell Mill around 532, and Speedwell around 532. Margot, what have you been keeping an eye on elsewhere across the area? There's just so many warnings that are out across the area right now. You can follow them at the bottom of your screen as well.
Yeah, Ken, a lot of warnings going on. I just got word from our producer, Dominic, that there's about 3,500 people in Knox County, KUB, without power. So we're dealing with power outages right now, even with that storm system that moved over. I do also want to mention, Ken, that a lot of these severe warned storms, these severe thunderstorm warnings do have that possible tornado tag associated with them. So again, that means that these storms do have the capability of producing a tornado, and obviously this is true because near Wani Village, we're seeing kind of that tighter rotation heading kind of closer towards Timbercrest, even Dupuy Addition, Emerald Acres. That system moved over Knox County and was just a severe thunderstorm warning, but now we're starting to see this rotation. We're also, again, seeing a lot of hail moving through with these storm systems as well. We saw pea-sized, nickel-sized here in downtown Knoxville, and now starting to see kind of a hail path that was near Cherokee, Wani Village, passing over kind of this waterway right here, moving towards Dupuy Addition. Next, again, Emerald Acres, then Timbercrest. And again, as we go further east and northeast, soon would be the Crosby area, Cherokee Park, Corbin Estates, Fairview, Marguerite Elementary. So again, you need to make sure you are staying aware of your surroundings. We have a lot of storms throughout the entire area. Let's kind of take a zoomed out look just to see what I'm talking about. So again, we have those two tornado warned storms, but this is our radar right now. We're watching a lot going on. There's a storm system moving from Cumberland County going into Roane and Loudoun County. We're also watching a storm system moving through McMinn and Monroe counties, moving towards Blount County. We have a lot going on right now, and we're thankful that you're bearing with us. But again, we have two tornado warned storms, keeping very close eyes towards those. The one that I'm watching is actually heading closer towards the radar, Ken. So we're going to have to really keep a very close eye on that storm system.
Yeah, let's go back. We'll head to Campbell County. This is a tornado warning that goes until 5:45, so another 30 minutes or so, but it's actually probably going to be clearing out of that area. We'll see if they extend it into portions of Union County. But the worst part of the storm, southeast of La Follette right now, but close to the middle school in the next few minutes. Bethlehem 522, White Hollow at 529, and Wilson Gap at 534. And again, this tornado warning goes until 5:45 for Campbell County. I'd say west of 75, you're okay from that warning, but La Follette eastward especially, you're still kind of right in the midst of that. And this southern cell, not quite as potent as the one to the north, but worth watching. At least some blinding rainfall along Interstate 75 between Caryville and Lake City, down towards Norris, and also towards Rocky Top. Cove Lake Estates around 523, that's going to be your heavy rainfall, but that's our active tornado warning. Probably going to have to either expire this or extend it a little further in the next bit. We're still watching these cells right through here. Jefferson City, this one's worth watching. New Market around 516, Jeff County Middle and Elementary at 523, and Patriot Academy at 524 as this is moving towards Jefferson City. That's a severe thunderstorm warning, but again, as Margot mentioned, they've been putting tags on these saying tornadoes are possible with some of these. So it looks like they may have just discontinued.
Good news, Ken. They canceled both of the warnings.
The one back into Campbell County as well?
They canceled Granger, Hamblin, Jefferson, Campbell, Scott, and Union.
Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to stay online and on our app, but when we get a chance, we're going to go back to the hockey game. But we want to let you know we're going to stay here online and on our app to keep you updated. If another tornado warning is issued, we will come back on the air. But you guys let me know when we're ready to send it back to programming. Meanwhile, we'll just kind of give you a recap real quick across the area what we're looking at. Numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We'll keep an eye on this one that's developing in Monroe County right now, moving northeast towards Blount. No warning on this yet, but we will have to keep an eye on this. It's basically just southeast of Madisonville, going to be near 3 Points at 519, Union Grove at 532. Tallahassee at about 5:34. Again, no warning yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning. That's the one that had the tornado warning earlier. Looks like it's coming near Oak Ridge, at least southern Anderson County, and at least west side of Knox County. This one's been moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So heads up, Hardin Valley Elementary, Middle, and the Academy, Pellissippi State, 5:20, and Volunteer Village around 5:21. Again, let me know when we're ready to toss it back to programming. Please upstairs so we can do that, and we'll get them back to the hockey game. But we'll stay online and on our app to keep you updated across the area. So just let me know when we're ready to do that, please. But numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. This one probably will be canceled very shortly. Next minute, that's going to be for East Knox County. The one in the west side still goes for another 30 minutes, though, but this will at least clear up a lot of the area. So we will go ahead and send back to the hockey game right now, but a pause for just a minute, and we'll stay online and on our app to continue this coverage. Thanks again for staying with us. We got you back to the hockey game. Turn to WATE to watch that. We'll have WATE 6 on your side news at 6 following the end of the hockey game. Hopefully we didn't miss too much of it, but again, it's our policy. We have to stay on the air if there's a tornado warning for any part of our viewing area because we want to make sure everyone stays safe. We've had numerous reports of damage, more like wind damage as at this point, but there's been so many warnings. They're probably going to be keeping a close eye anyway. Once this is all done, they may go out and do some surveys on some of these storm sites that we've had. But let's get kind of a quick overlook here of what we have across our area. We do have some warnings. Southern sections of Monroe County, that cell's probably not going to impact. That's probably going to make its way further to the east and not have a huge concern. This storm has been weakening some coming into southern Anderson and extreme west Knox County. Still a couple of warnings, though. This is going to be for Hamblin County and also into Granger County, Jefferson County. That's going to go until 5:45. And then the newest warning that came out until 6 is going to be Cott County with this cell. That may be worth watching. It's been kind of out by itself, kind of a free environment to strengthen. We'll see if that happens. It's pretty close to Interstate 40 there in Cott County. I'll put another track on that for you quickly. English Creek 525, Lick Log 528, and Pleasant Grove at about 529. These have been moving east very quickly at about 30.
Update for Lady Ball softball.
Yeah.
They will remain in an extended delay. Reevaluate at 6:30. The earliest they can resume is at 7 o'clock.
Okay, so Lady Vols, unfortunately, they're dealing with this as well, as that super regionals going on in Knoxville with the Lady Vols in Alabama. They're in that extended weather delay. So Margaret's saying the earliest could be 7 o'clock. Again, probably smart. It's not like the men's field where it's mainly turf. They're mainly a dirt and grass field, so they'll have to do a lot of manicuring to get that up to speed once these storms move through. And again, we've got additional storms that will be making its way pretty close to the downtown Knoxville area with this weakening cell, we'll say, back here in Anderson County. So still has that small little appendage to it, and that's kind of what we've seen. These storms try to rotate. They're really trying. But now at least they're kind of working their way over some spots that have already seen some rainfall, and that helps. But there's a little bit of shear showing up right there. So these are the kind of things we have to watch. So that little bit is concerning right through there. Let's take that off. Right through here. That would be the area I'd keep an eye on. So we're getting out of Roane County, coming into Anderson, west side of Knox County. That's certainly worth watching right through there. That's just one. Other areas we're keeping an eye on where we have these severe thunderstorm warnings. At minimum, we've got some very strong winds right through here between Jefferson City and Dandridge. That's right along Interstate 40. Anytime you see the gold that's showing up like that, that's going to be winds closer 50 to 60 miles per hour. In fact, there's 65. I bet they're a little stronger there. Let's see. If I can get right through there. That's maybe a little misleading. I don't know if it's quite that strong, but if it is, then this is what we're talking about. We can see extensive damage in some spots with some of these storms if we're seeing winds that strong. It's not that far away from the radar site, so it's possible. But
We have a tornado warning for Monroe County, Ken.
okay, what part of Monroe County? Is it that southern part?
I think it's that really far southern part because it's going towards Cherokee, North Carolina.
Okay, then we're not going to cut in for that one.
Sounds good.
I was worried more about that one, that cell. Okay, so yeah, we're not going to cut in on air for that. That's going to not even impact our viewing area. This is western North Carolina. That's going to be Cherokee, and that's the storm that's heading over there. So yeah, that's a pretty beastly looking storm. This area has been untouched today by storms, so there's a lot of fuel, a lot of available energy for those storms down there to develop, and that's what this one has done. That's exiting now and going into Cherokee County, North Carolina. So Hiawassee Village, 539, and Unaka at about 543. But again, that's not in our viewing area. But if you know anybody that's over there, please let them know of that storm that's moving through. Margot, what else are you keeping an eye on out there?
Just because of these storms, they had that capability of producing hail, and you can see the hail paths with these severe warned storms, especially the ones kind of heading towards Jefferson County, Granger County, Hamblen County. You can see this line that was just directly over the downtown Knoxville area where we saw that pea and quarter-sized hail. Even seeing some hail kind of lines near the LaFollette area with that storm you were tracking that had that tornado warning with it. And again, we're tracking everything as we head further into the rest of the area. But Ken, it does look like that they did put a severe warning on that kind of storm that you were eyeing, especially because it does still have that broad rotation for West Knox County going into West Anderson County. So again, we have this severe warned storm, and this warning does last, let's check it out, it lasts until about close to 5:45. So right now it's 5:20, so we have about 25 minutes left on this storm system. But again, we're going to watch everything as it moves on through, especially keeping an eye on the ORNL area, just because it's kind of showing that kind of hook that we look for, especially in these types of storms that can definitely indicate some broad rotation. This is kind of a look at what we're seeing right now. It's very broad at the moment, which is good. It's very good for us. But again, we're going to watch everything heading on into the next couple of hours, but still seeing some very heavy rain associated with these storms. We're seeing very heavy rain kind of in between the Scarborough and the Hardin Valley area, as well as seeing some heavier rain kind of near the Clinton area, as well as Oliver Springs. So we're going to see some heavier rain, even possibly seeing some localized flooding, especially with areas that get run over with these storms a ton. So just kind of a look at everything, taking a zoomed out look just to know where we're seeing all these storms. Again, watching everything closely, especially towards the Dandridge and Morristown area. I want to keep a very close eye there, especially because that was where one of our warnings was, seeing some heavier showers near Jefferson County High School, as well as Jefferson City and Newmarket Elementary School. Ken?
Yeah, Margot, one thing I want to point out as well, now we're looking back west of the plateau, additional storms still developing back here. And we haven't had a lot of activity south of I-40, so south of Cumberland County, Bledsoe, Ray, Meigs, McMinn counties. We'll have to keep an eye on this cell that's been pushing off towards kind of the east-southeast, and it's all by itself, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Headed towards McMinnville. These are the kind of cells we have to watch carefully as they track to the south and east. So I just wanted to point that out. We'll keep an eye on that storm, but let's go back closer to home. We'll take a look at Knoxville and surrounding areas. Still going to keep an eye on this storm to the south that's in Monroe County. Doesn't look quite as potent as it did a minute ago. On that one? Okay, so Margot, she mentioned it's called a special weather statement. What that basically means is that it's not quite to severe limits. It's probably just below it, and that's what this means. So a special weather statement. By definition, a severe thunderstorm is 58 mile per hour winds or greater, or we've got 1 inch in diameter hail or greater. I'm just looking. So they canceled the Loudoun and Morgan County severe. Let's go back. So the Loudoun, that was Loudoun and Morgan. And so the areas to the south. Okay, so yeah, they've dropped that. That makes sense. That was gone a while ago. But still, they're keeping an eye on this one. Again, I don't like the little appendages we're kind of seeing on the tail end of some of these storms. Still indicating to me that they're trying to rotate, but hopefully they're having a bit of a difficult time. Same with this one, right along Interstate 40 west of Dandridge. That's one to keep an eye on. Areas to the north, several little individual areas that need to be kept an eye on. This one, you're in the severe thunderstorm warning here, about to cross I-75. Bryceville, if you know that community, very hilly through there. Bryceville 527, you're coming up in 4 minutes. Lake City, Rocky Top 532, heads up with that as it's kind of heading in your area. This one that's west of Frost, so we're in the west side of Anderson County. The Windrock Mountain, there's the big ATV park there. They also have the wind generators for power that KUB and TVA have up there in Upper Windrock Mountain. So I know cell service is a little sketchy up there, but if you've got anybody that's maybe four-wheeling this afternoon on the holiday weekend, please make sure they know these storms are right on top of them now, 526. Most likely to be producing some small hail. That's what this brighter pink is showing up across the area. We're not seeing the huge, really dark pink swaths like we were earlier with this cell. That's the one where we had just those numerous reports of hail across Knox County as that storm moved through earlier. It was very impressive to see. And we had some hail that was probably about nickel size, getting close to quarter size with that as it moved through. But just looks like a mess, I know, but just wanted to point out there's just so much activity going on across our area here this afternoon with these storms. But do want to point out, we do have an update now. The severe thunderstorm watch did get expanded until 9 o'clock. So the majority of the area has an opportunity to see severe storms through this 9 o'clock time frame. Now, there is still an opportunity overnight tonight for a line that could come through the area, a line of thunderstorms. But if the atmosphere is worked over like it's getting now, hopefully the intensity of that is a little less than what it would have been if these hadn't developed across our area. Don't want to let your guard down. It's okay, you can sleep tonight, but just wanted to point out that maybe this helps a little bit. I always say it's like somebody running a marathon, right? If you've run half your marathon, you're pretty tired. You can rest up, but are you really going to run a full marathon again? Probably not. Maybe you can finish that half marathon. So same thing kind of with this atmosphere that's coming through these storms. It's working over the atmosphere a little bit, but how much energy will be left once these come through? Let's do a quick, just kind of a look of some of our cameras across the area. This is our Embassy Suites hotel camera. We're kind of looking back towards the east. I'll switch this back a little further to the west because some of these storms, again, are redeveloping back to the west. We were watching this line as it came through initially, the one that produced all the hail. And there was, it looked like a little bit of a lowering with it, a wall cloud. Did not see any type of an appendage like a tornado, but we were seeing at least some hail with this. So we're going to go back towards the west a little bit, just see this next round that's going to be coming through. And we're going to continue to see these several rounds of storms that'll keep coming through the area as we go over the next couple of hours. So we'll keep an eye on that. We also have one camera that's Fairfield Glade. That's at the Dorchester Golf Course. A round of heavy rainfall just went through there. We're seeing a little bit of a lightening with an E of the sky. So we're seeing a little bit of sun trying to appear on the horizon. So Cumberland County, you're getting a little bit of a break right now, and we're still not seeing much in the way of visibility on McLeod Mountain there in Campbell County as these storms just continue to produce heavy, heavy rainfall. Margot, what have you been keeping a close eye on? I know you've been checking in with the Weather Service as well.
Yeah, getting a lot of reports of hail an inch in diameter, reported in Granger and Hamilton counties, even one close to Morristown, close to 2 inches in diameter. So that's pretty big. Also saw a report in Morristown as well. Close to 2 inches of rain has fallen. So that's a lot of rain. And we're again expecting to see more as we head forward into the rest of this evening going on into tonight. But Ken, I'm keeping a very close eye on this storm system, this severe thunderstorm warning that's moving kind of through the Hardin Valley, Solway area that's kind of heading closer towards just north of downtown Knoxville, kind of going towards Adrian Burnett Elementary School, close to Alice Bell Elementary School as well. just because, again, we're watching kind of that curve right there, seeing not really much in terms of rotation, but keeping a very close eye because this warning can still has that tornado tag possible on it. Keep seeing a few notifications over there on my computer, but again, we're watching everything closely. There was a severe warning storm that was put out for Blount and Sevier counties until closer to about, I think it says 6:30 right there. Yes, 6:30 right there for this storm that's kind of moving just east of the Madisonville area. Let's take a closer look at that storm just to see what we're dealing with, especially in that area, because our Southern Valley and kind of portions of the Smokies haven't really been run over, Ken. So close to Chilhowie and Citico Beach, going towards Chota, as well as heading towards Carpenters Elementary School and continuing to track east towards Townsend. This area is going to see this storm move over it. So we're going to keep a very close eye here as well, but this is a severe thunderstorm warning lasting until 6:30. Ken?
We really, again, there's a lot of activity, so we kind of have to focus on, one, which storms look the strongest, which ones will impact the most people the soonest, and we do want to keep an eye on the one Margot was talking about back near Hardin Valley. We're kind of still seeing this little inflow notch, if you will, like it's trying to rotate. We've been seeing that with this cell. It's the one that came out of Roane County that prompted the tornado warning not too long ago. It's the same cell. And these kind of track over the same areas. And think of it this way, if it comes into a little more favorable environment, it can kind of spin up again, or then it runs into something and it kind of disrupts the flow. But we'll see if they can continue to hold together. But the warning we have goes until 5:45 here for Anderson and Knox County, and then extends a little further to the east as well. They'll probably go ahead and extend this. I wouldn't be surprised if the new warning comes out soon with this cell, because it's still at least showing that possibility. So it's close to Oak Ridge Estates at 5:33, Volunteer Village 5:33, Pellissippi State, the main campus 5:33. And it looks like it's crossing Pellissippi as we speak. So it's really close to Pellissippi and Oak Ridge Highway and Western Avenue, kind of right where they come together, or Western and Pellissippi come together. That's kind of right where this would be. Moving east at 40. So there probably is some small hail with this as well. My biggest concern probably is going to be if we're seeing some rotation. So let's just look. It's very broad, but there's at least something showing up there. So that's why we need to continue to keep a close eye on this cell. It would be right there. It's pretty close to the Academy. So right again where there's Western Avenue, where it comes with Pellissippi. So it would be south of that. So it's pretty close to HVA, Pellissippi State Community College, right there where they come, they merge together. But I'd still say right through there, that's something that's certainly worth watching. You can see this little appendage again, right through there. Not saying that there is a tornado there, but could be a lowering, something worth watching. Regardless, the northern part of this storm's probably producing some hail as it's moving right there between Western Avenue and Pellissippi where they meet. Oak Ridge Estates 5:34. There's the community college again. So that, see the latest update right through there. That purplish, almost the dark black. That's where our hail core would be. So it's moving right along Western Avenue as we speak. So heads up, Pellissippi State, as I mentioned, 5:34. Plum Creek 5:36. Brookhaven 5:36 as well. So this will continue to move east. Let's get a wider perspective. So this warning will be expiring soon, 5:45. In fact, this cell's almost to the edge of that warning. For now, Oak Ridge, you're okay. We'll see. Margot, have you seen if there are good plans to extend that at all? Let me know if you see that, but also we'll keep an eye on the one in northern Anderson County. Again, you see these little comma shapes that we have. Those are the things that we have to keep a close eye on. This storm that's over to the east, right at the 40 and 81 split, that looks pretty hefty. I would imagine there's probably some hail with that. Not seeing a ton. There's more actually with this cell in Cott County right now. This one producing quite a bit of hail going right across Interstate 40. So 100% chance that we're seeing hail. Now I know the hail size says 2 3/4 inches, but that's probably at the elevation that radar beam is at. So at about 2,000 feet up. Now, are we seeing hail that large reaching the ground? Probably not. I'd say at least 1 inch in diameter, so the size of a quarter or bigger certainly seems possible across the area for sure. But that's a pretty big storm right there, crossing Interstate 40 into Cott County. So heads up Bell Hill School, 543, Grassy Fork, 544, downtown Grassy Fork at 545, and also heads up Davis School and Rose School at 547. So if you live in and around those schools, you're familiar with the area. At minimum, we're talking about seeing some hail. Look at the swath of hail we've seen over the past hour. And the darker the color here, the more likely there is hail. And Margot, I believe that certainly to be the case with these cells. They've been pretty impressive across the area. Quickly, what I want to show you, this is our future scan product, and what this does is it shows where these storms could be over the next hour. So let me just turn off the warnings here for just a second. So it looks like maybe a little less coverage, especially to the west. Maybe the storms are a little weaker, but still we'll keep an eye along the 40-81 split if this verifies, and I don't see why it wouldn't. So we'll watch this batch of storms make its way over towards Hamlin, Granger, Jefferson counties, but maybe it's a little weaker the next batch that comes in, at least till sunset. That's a pretty potent storm. There's going to be some decent hail with that one for sure. My goodness, look at the dark black showing up right through there. That's a 4.4, so at least some hail. Heads up, that's going to be pretty close. Cades Cove, are we getting close to Cades Cove there? Yeah, 557. Again, you're not going to be able to tell anybody. Cell service doesn't work there in and around the park, unfortunately, but maybe send them a text. Sometimes texts go through a little easier. Just say, heads up, storm heading your way close to the top of the hour here. Tuckaleechee at 6:02 and Townsend at 6:04 certainly could be. What's kind of interesting is this signature is sometimes called a flying eagle. It kind of looks like the wings spreading out of an eagle, and you often get that when you have a really strong updraft within a thunderstorm, and that would be indicative of at least producing some decent size hail. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Again, it's almost out of our viewing area there, but that's a potent one that doesn't have a warning on it. Looks like all the warnings, oh, I turned them off, Ken. There we go. Now it does have a warning on it. They just added that warning. Makes sense. Blount County until 6:30. That had the special on it earlier, but they went ahead and updated it to a severe thunderstorm warning. So anything else, Margot, that you're seeing? I'd say the one in West Knox County, I don't see. Have you seen that they are going to extend this?
I haven't seen any talks of them extending it,
Okay.
but I have seen a lot of chatter about keeping an eye, especially on that hook right there. One thing I also want to point out, Ken, with these severe thunderstorm warnings, yes, most of them do have that tornado tag possible on them, but it's not just that tornado tag that we have to be worried about. It's not just the hail or the heavy rain, but it's also the chance for seeing straight line winds. This is a look from Jefferson County. Again, this is a severe warned storm until about 5:45, so we have about close to 10 minutes left on it, kind of near the Oak Grove community and the Banbury community. If we take a kind of look, we're seeing some pretty gusty winds. Now, definitely not severe criteria, but seeing winds up to 34 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, definitely something to watch out for. It definitely can bring down some tree limbs, definitely can bring down some toys outside that your kids may have left. So just be aware of that, especially going into the next couple of hours. Yes, our tornado threat may go down later on, but we have to keep our eyes out for straight-lined winds. Again, just taking a zoomed-out look. Again, we're watching very closely kind of near the West Knox, West Anderson area, counties, those areas, just because we're seeing kind of that. Oh, Ken, you got something?
Yeah, I think they're just going to re-extend the warning for Knox if you want to zoom down a little bit.
Yeah, right here? Or?
Yeah, I think they extended that one a little further.
Till 6:15?
Yeah, I think that's the new one.
That's the new one. Again, we're going to keep an eye kind of at this little hook right here. It's just past the Hardin Valley Academy area, but it looks like it just went over Pellissippi, heading closer towards Bearden High School, going kind of straight down I-40 right there, Ken, heading straight towards downtown Knoxville. So definitely something to keep our eyes on, correct?
Yeah. You actually see a little bit of that lowering right through here, so that would be looking back towards that storm. This is Interstate 40 going through downtown L&N STEM Academy right here to put it in perspective. So this is Embassy Suites hotel camera. So a little bit of a lowering. That may be that cell that we're keeping an eye on there that they just issued the warning on. So we'll watch it. I'll keep this camera up so I can keep an eye on it. But let me show you what it looks like on radar. the actual storm. So it's right through here, that lowering right through there. We've been watching this, the same cell. That prompted the warning out in Roane County with a tornado warning earlier. Severe thunderstorm warning now for Knox, but they have that still tornado possible tag on it, meaning that that's certainly possible. We could still see a tornado produced from this. Very broad rotation, I'd say, with it, as you can see here. Nothing jumping out at me saying, hey, look at me. But we're still seeing kind of that inflow notch. We're about to get some heavy rain here at our studios. I'll be interested to see if there's any hail with this one. It's not showing a huge core of hail. This was from the storm earlier that moved through, so it's not the current one. It's not this one. It's the one that moved through earlier. But that's still going to be worth watching. That cell, the one I would say into Cott County, and the one that we looked at down into Blount County heading into the Smokies. Let me look again at the camera. So, yep, still seeing that little bit of a lowering right through there. Unfortunately, you're getting the rain moving into the downtown Knoxville, so that rain out ahead of it. Now, sometimes you see this. This is what I was talking about. It's called scud clouds or fractus clouds. And what happens is the cool rain falls, obviously, through the clouds and interacts with the warmer air that you have at the surface, and it makes like stringy appendages almost looking back down towards the south, down towards the ground. And that's what some people sometimes mistake as a wall cloud or a funnel cloud. Not so much with this. I want to keep an eye on that cell that's back towards the south and west. This is the one that is seeing the little bit of a lowering on it. So I'm going to move the camera just a bit back towards the west here. And we're going to zoom in just a little bit just to see if we see anything that comes out from the bottom of that. Okay, so we're taking a look. We're looking due west. As long as we don't get obscured by the rain here, we would be seeing that lowering, that wall cloud that's right through there. You see the back edge of this, the tail that we're seeing. So there's at least some inflow coming into this cloud as we're looking kind of southwest now towards that. I don't want to get too close into it, but definitely going to keep a close eye on this. I'm going to back out just a little bit here. Just a bit. Certainly worth watching there. But Margot, I'm not seeing anything directly coming down from the base of this cloud. So that's a good thing, but we do want to keep a close eye on it. Put in perspective, there's the sun sphere. So again, we're looking west towards the Tennessee campus. Again, Lady Vol softball in delay, minimum till 7 o'clock. The last update we heard with these storms rolling through the area.
Yeah, definitely something to watch. But the good news is I haven't seen much chatter about the kind of broad rotation we're seeing.
Yeah.
But definitely something to watch. Also, another area possibly to watch, kind of near the Gibbs Elementary School area, Ken.
All right, why don't you put that up for Margot? Yeah. She can talk about that, and I'll keep an eye on this lowering that we have here, this wall cloud.
This area just mostly I'm concerned with kind of looking at the winds, not so much as rotation, but near Minot and Gibbs Elementary School, we're kind of starting to see some winds pick up in that area. Now, again, they're not severe, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in this area in North Knoxville that lasts until 6:15 this evening. But again, we're going to keep a look at everything, especially in especially heading towards the downtown area. But there's a little bit of something going on. But we're going to keep an eye out on everything moving through, just because there's a lot going on still, especially here in our area. We have that severe warning storm kind of in the Sevier County, Blount County area as well. Let's take a zoomed in look there. Again, watching everything moving forward for the next couple of hours. It looks like they shortened that one. That's good, especially because that storm's no longer in portions of Monroe and McMinn, but soon kind of Cades Cove, as Ken pointed out, here in the next 10 minutes will be affected by this storm. Next up would be Townsend, then going towards Tremont, and then Park Settlement in the next 10 minutes or so. Oh, Ken,
Go back to Knox County, Margot.
going back to Knox County, you
Looks
got
like
it.
a new warning for Anderson, Claiborne, Granger, Hamlin, Hancock, Hawkins, Jefferson, Knox, Union. Going to be a big warning. This one will go, let's see. This one goes until 5 p.m.
5 o'clock?
Wait a minute.
You mean 6 o'clock?
I think.
Or are they canceling it?
Hold on.
Well, we're still watching everything. Ken's keeping an eye, especially on those warnings. And again, especially we're watching right here, possibly for some lowering. We're hoping no lowering happens. But again, closer towards the, just before it hits the downtown Knoxville area, I'll take a zoomed in look again. This is kind of drawing our attention near Amherst Elementary School and Bearden Middle School. Look at our storm relative velocity, just trying to show kind of that rotation. There is a little bit of some winds kind of wrapping around. But again, this could be in the higher elevations. We're going to keep an eye on everything. A look kind of at our shear to see if there's any tight rotation. Not seeing much. It's on the weaker end, which is good, especially for us folks here in downtown, which includes us here at WATE 6. But again, this warning is still for Knox County. Right now, Ken's trying to figure out when that time ends. But again, we're watching everything going on into the next couple of hours, especially with these storms moving on through, because not only are we worried about these tornadoes, but we're also worried about the hail. We're worried about the heavy rain causing localized flooding, as well as that lightning and straight line winds. So again, remember, this is one of 2 lines that we're expecting for the rest of this evening. Now, that second line isn't even this line right here back towards Fentress and Cumberland counties. That second line is not expected to arrive until later on in the overnight hours. Kind of taking a look. Why don't we just check over here kind of to look at our next timing of our next system moving on through. So this is kind of a look at our SPC map, what the Storm Prediction Center puts out, and we are under that 3 out of 5 for the majority of the area here, and the rest of us under that 2 out of 5 for strong to severe storms. Now, this storm system moving through later on this evening, going on into early tomorrow morning, actually looks to be more of straight line winds, heavy rain, and hail. This line doesn't look to arrive until closer towards midnight and lasts until about 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So again, before you head to bed tonight, make sure you have your weather notifications turned on, just because we're seeing 2 lines of storms coming on through. But again, a look back at our radar just to kind of see what we're dealing with right now. Again, seeing very heavy storms over the Knox County area. And Ken, I think maybe they took away.
They did.
That, yeah, it looks like they took away, and the warning now is still until 6:15.
And that excuse me, the area we were watching, that lowering, it's gone for now. Not seeing that there. And what's interesting is seeing these clouds, they're moving south. The low clouds are moving south, which is very interesting to me to see them coming in this direction when the storms themselves are moving east and you're getting extreme low level flow coming in. So very crazy kind of atmosphere we have. One thing I want to keep an eye on, Margot, watch this storm that's right on the Jefferson County and Cott County border. So it would be this cell right here. I want you to watch that one. I'm still going to focus on the one that's in west side of Knox County, still to me worth watching. So right about now, Cherokee Ridge, Pleasant Ridge Elementary at 548, Rivers Edge Christian Academy 548 as well, moving east at about 40 miles per hour. And again, we've had this broad rotation with it much of the time, this entire, say, 2 hours that this thing has moved out of Roane County, the west side of Knox County as we speak. It's not great compared to where it was, but still has the little appendage, and we need to keep an eye on it. But regardless, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for this that goes until 6:15. I imagine we're going to be doing WAT 6 on your side news coming up here at 6. So, Margot, I want you to go ahead and get your stuff ready for that, and I'll stay on and handle this until we're ready here for the 6 o'clock newscast. But just to kind of bring you up to speed, what we're looking at is the warnings we have across the area. Main one here into Knox County, you might be able to hear the rain here over my head on our roof. It sounds a little bit different than the last time when we had hail. I could hear a difference, but we're not hearing that now. Emily, what we'll do here in a minute coming up, we're still in the hockey game, aren't we? I think we are still.
11 minutes left
11 minutes left, so we are not going to be on WATE at 6 on your side at 6 o'clock, and the game is tied. So there is that possibility of overtime. But Margot, we'll let you get your stuff set up so you'll be ready, and then you can come join me back here in a minute. We've been looking again, numerous opportunities for these watches warnings that we've had across the area. This is the second wave, if you will, we've had. We still expect another wave to come through a little bit later tonight, but hopefully it's a little bit less impressive than what we've had come through. This storm I was watching that was moving east of Nashville, watch how potent it looked. It's basically falling apart now. That's great. That's great. Starting to weaken, that one is. So maybe it's coming into a bit of a more less favorable environment, we'll say, across our area. That would be nice. I'll do a quick radar tour here for you to get you up to date. There's the warning we have. That's for Cott County. It's basically out of Jefferson County now. You're fine. But it's north of Newport. That one still kind of has my attention. I think we just had like a little power flash there, but we're still on the air. That one still kind of has my attention right here, so I'll keep an eye on it. Heads up Bybee 558, Fowler Grove 602, and Bulette 603. You can still see, again, this little inflow right through there. That has my attention. That's worth watching. It's what most of these have had. They've had the little inflow notches, something that we need to keep an eye on. So I'll go back. This one's got to be pretty close to downtown now. See what the camera looks like. Definitely a ragged sky, heavy rainfall. I'll turn this back north just a little bit so we can kind of get an idea. This is downtown Knoxville. That's looking almost due west. Almost due west with that. But I want to go a little bit further north, and I'm going to expand out the view. Man, that's just amazing to see these clouds and moving in the direction that they are. All right, there's the heavy rain that's over our area right now. That's kind of moving back. That'll be due north. That's back towards Sharps Ridge. I'm going to come back more to the west side so we can see that storm kind of coming in. I'm going to go just a little bit further south. Just some low clouds, nothing that's really jumping out at me. No type of a wall cloud like we were seeing earlier, so I'll keep it due west, and we'll just keep an eye on that storm that's really close to the downtown area now, at least on the west side that we've been seeing. So we'll go back to the radar real quick. So cameras right here downtown, we're looking back into that storm, and really all I was seeing is heavy rainfall with it. But there's still a severe thunderstorm warning for this. Hail threat may have come down just a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some small hail with it. But right along 640, 75, 275, right where all those come together. So we're talking about Sturkey, 553, Lonsdale 554, Coster Yards again, where the rail yards are there on 275. That's at about 555. Lincoln Park 555 and Christenberry 555 as well, the elementary school. Moving east at 30. So that one's worth watching. One to the south, this one's still very potent into Blount County, but it's starting to move into the Smokies. That's going to be near Sunshine 606, Tuckaleechee 607, Townsend 609, Tremont 614, Park Settlement 616, and Greenbrier 619, and eventually Cades Cove as well, right about 5 minutes from right now, or a little bit more than that. But again, you're getting into some areas where you don't have great cell service, but I always say at least try to text somebody. Sometimes texts have an easier time going through than an actual phone call. But I'm sure they're probably seeing it coming, as dark as it's getting there in the park. But that severe thunderstorm warning here goes until 6:30. The one over Knoxville goes until 6:15. And then the ones areas east of the 40-81 split there in Cott County, that goes until 6:30. But I would say if we get these two dropped, we're probably going to be in a lot better shape. But I'm still kind of nervous about that one in Cott County. It looks a little less defined than a little bit ago, but heads up Bybee 555, Parrottsville 603, and downtown Parrottsville at 604. Margot, what else have you been able to see from this across the area? I was glad to see the storms, at least to the west, weakening a little bit coming out of Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, especially after we saw that busy portion for West Knoxville Rowan and Loudon. But yeah, still kind of watching this system moving through Cocke County, as you mentioned. Definitely a lot weaker in these past few scans. A look at our storm relative velocity, not as tight of a rotation, still very, very broad. I think they're typing to let us know what they're thinking in the National Weather Service. But again, go ahead, get in your safe place. You might as well, just because it is still a severe warned storm. So next step would be Forest Hill here in the next 10 minutes, then Parrottsville, then Salem and Baltimore. So just be aware of this system moving through. It's kind of near the Northwest Elementary School area that we're seeing this kind of rotation, south of the Bybee area, again heading towards Parrottsville and Burner Grove. Seems like my watch is going off to let us know that there is a update on the severe thunderstorm warnings across our area. So let's kind of take a zoomed out look. Just
Shrunk the one in Knox County.
so they just shrunk the one in Knox County, which is good. Still have that one that's moving through Blount, heading on into Sevier County. Still kind of have one heading east from Knox County into kind of Hamblin and Jefferson, but it doesn't look. Are they extending it? Do you know, Ken? Probably. I don't think they are extending it.
The Knox one?
Yeah.
No update yet. The update they put was just to cancel the west side of that, basically.
Okay, cool. So again, this is what we're watching. The good news is kind of closer towards the Anderson, Campbell County, Scott County, Morgan County, Cumberland, Fentress, and all those counties just seeing rain. That's the good news. We're just seeing rain. It's a lot calmer on the backside of this system. And again, taking kind of a look closer towards Nashville, we were watching this one storm moving on through, kind of looking at the radar from there, but that storm has calmed down. And after that, it's dry. It's at least dry, and we at least will get somewhat of a break heading on into the rest of this evening. But we are going to be keeping a very close look at everything heading on into the next couple of hours, especially as we head towards tonight, because we do expect to see strong to severe storms yet again for the overnight hours. So again, even after all of this is done, we're not out of the woods just yet. We still have a chance of seeing strong to severe storms. But again, still keeping our eyes kind of on the Cocke County storm, taking a zoomed in look, still seeing that bit of a hook, Ken, but it's definitely not as broad as it was. The storm relative velocity kind of showing that rotation broader, but it's near the Parrottsville area.
Yeah, and I'm just looking, reading up the storm that we saw earlier up in Laurel County that made its way into Knox County, the initial one, basically. It looks like a storm survey is going to go out for Knox County tomorrow for that potential tornado damage in and around Corbin. So that's why we originally went on the air. We had that tornado warning. We thought it looked interesting, and we've been seeing numerous reports of damage from that area up there in the Laurel County, Knox County, Kentucky border with that storm earlier. And Weather Service there in Kentucky just says they're going to send out a survey crew tomorrow. So makes sense. Let's focus on two different cells we're watching. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning right on the Blount, Sevier County border. This one of interest because it could be heading towards a very populated area this weekend, right? Memorial Day weekend. We're talking about the Smokies. So we're going to track this cell pretty close to Park Settlement 602, Cove Creek Cascades at 609, and Little Cove at 611. That one has shown some interesting signs, maybe at least some weak rotation with that. But if it stays on this path, it could impact portions of, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. Very crowded this time of day. Even this southern cell we're watching, it's going to be a little bit more into the higher elevations of the Smokies, but that one producing hail most likely right now. So that's going to be close to Tremont, Townsend, right about 6:08, 6:15, so in the next 10, 20 minutes. And also Greenbrier, 6:20. So we'll keep an eye. That one's more impacting some of the Smoky Mountains. This one's going to be more of the area affected by tourists, where more people are. And again, as we've been saying, a little harder to get a cell signal in and around the Smokies. So this one we'll keep a close eye on. That one's come up in intensity, 4.3. So if you've got any friends at Anakeesta, kind of make sure they're paying attention to this as well, as this is kind of heading towards that Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area. That has my concern, Margot, is this one. Wares Valley, 607, Hatchertown, 609, Walden's Creek, 611. But little bit of an inflow. What's interesting is we'll see if these cells actually merge. They canceled the one in and around Knox, it looks like.
Towards Knox, Granger, Jefferson, and Union, and they're going to let the Cocke and Greene County severe with thunderstorm warning expire. So
I thought I just got another update that we got a new warning for Knox.
They said, so at around, let's see, it was around 5:53, we had that continuing that severe thunderstorm warning. And then they just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Granger, Jefferson, Knox, and Union.
Okay.
And then they're letting the one in Cocke and Greene expire.
Some of these advisories may be a little delayed getting through the system. So many have been coming out. But, okay, so at this point, no active warnings for Knox, Granger, at least West Jefferson. So this is just heavy rainfall that's making its way through. This is just a muddled mess here working its way through Cocke County, but looking a lot better for southern Cocke County. In fact, most of Cocke County looking pretty good, mainly just Greene County. I'd say my biggest concern is going to be this one, Margot, that's kind of making its way to the most populated area this time of year here for a holiday. So if you've got friends, family that are watching or in and around the Gatlinburg area, just make sure they're paying attention to this cell as it moves east. Again, it'll be near the Hornet community at 603. That's right here. That's on western side of Sevier County. And then the further east it gets, once you get near the main parkway there, that's going to be closer to about 6:15, 6:30 time frame. So I'd say it would put it in and around that Gatlinburg area in the next 30 minutes or so. So you're giving somebody a good heads up. I'd say especially in the Pigeon Forge area, we need to pay attention to that as it's moving through. That stayed pretty consistent, that 4.4 virtual threat that it's shown. Interesting, though, what happens if these two storms kind of merge? Oftentimes what happens, they behave or misbehave, if you will, by themselves, but when they get together, you see them weaken. They don't often strengthen even further when they come together, and it looks like that one is just about to merge with this southern one. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The southern cell still very potent with some hail, I would say. The northern one had that bit of rotation that was showing up, or shear, as we say. But maybe it's the best thing we get those two to merge. Because, Margot, other than that, what else are we really keeping an eye on across our area?
I was keeping an eye on that one from Cocke County before they expired it, just because look at this hail path. Seeing a lot of these kind of hail paths over the past couple of hours, especially with these severe warned storms. But as of now, we still have kind of a severe thunderstorm warning for Cocke County until 6:30, as well as closer towards the Granger, wow, excuse me, did not mean to click that right there, Greene and Hawkins County, and then again closer towards Pigeon Forge and Blount and Sevier County, still watching this storm moving through, kind of taking a look at the reflectivity just to know where the storm system is moving through. As Ken mentioned, these two storms are kind of merging together, which is actually probably pretty beneficial for us here, but kind of taking a zoomed in look towards Knox County, the storm system moving through kind of Jefferson City, just kind of moved on out of Knox County, excuse me. We're going to keep an eye on that as well, just because it has had the potential to become severe. We're still seeing some pretty heavier rain showers over the Jefferson City area, as well as the Morristown area. And if we kind of take a zoomed in look kind of towards Kingsport, I know not really necessarily in our viewing area, but seeing some heavier showers near there, as well as the Greenville area. But again, we're going to continue to watch everything. Right now, still seeing just those two severe warned storms, again, passing through Blount and Sevier counties, and another one passing through Cocke and Greene counties. And again, after that, we're looking at pretty nice and dry conditions, especially going on into the next couple of hours, which is good. We all get a bit of a break. But again, we're going to watch everything. We do have that second line moving on in. And I know, Ken, still hockey going on. I think you can see the TV better than me. I know we're supposed to usually have our 6 o'clock newscast around here this time.
Yeah, the hockey game's still going, and it's a tie as well. So it may go into extra periods. We'll see overtime. Got a report, Happy Valley in Blount County. 1-inch diameter hail. It kind of makes sense with this storm as it went through the area. Kind of makes sense with our hail swath. This is over an hour's period of time. It's kind of showed that whole path, if you will, producing hail. So that makes sense. And that cell now is working its way into extreme eastern Blount County, almost into western Sevier. Still kind of two individual cells here, but worth watching. It looks like it's come down a little bit in intensity. I don't want to let our guard down, though. Still worth watching. This is severe thunderstorm warning for Sevier County till 6:30, and the southern flank of this storm is moving almost due east, headed towards Elkmont. So Townsend 609 there, Greenbrier 619, Wears Valley 619, and Elkmont 624. So the southern part of the storm is going to impact more of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The northern part of this cell could impact more of the tourist attractions where a lot of people are visiting here from out of town. So Park Settlement 605, Cove Creek Cascades at 614, Norton Creek Ranch 619. If you got friends, family that are visiting in town, again, we're streaming on our app, streaming online. They can join us. We're going to keep them updated with this, but I would say this is probably the main thing that we're going to be keeping an eye on, what's left in our area. I'd even say these storms that are further east over into portions of Greene and Cott County, a lot weaker than what they were. This is probably just going to be the main show we'll have to keep an eye on right here. What's left, at least in this short term, is this these two cells that are making their way over towards Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. What I'm going to do, Margot, is I'm going to kind of switch over some of our cameras, see if we can get a better view of this. But I've not seen any update from the Weather Service about this. They're not mentioning any rotation with it. I'm not seeing anything quite like we were earlier. Again, I think it's due more to the merger of the two cells that we were seeing. But certainly going to be some very heavy rainfall at a minimum. And there's a lot of lightning with this as well as this storm's moving through. The lightning display, look how active it has been over the past hour. In fact, I can put a counter on here and you can see how many 168 strikes in the past 15 minutes just with this. Looks like they're continuing the one up into Greene and Cott County, which makes sense, Margot. It's kind of moving out of Cott County. Let me put we call a future scan on this. And it'll kind of give us an idea of where this storm could be over the next hour. And you can see, as I mentioned, where it's moving through, especially through Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, some of the higher elevations of the Smokies, the national park, and then eventually ending up, and it looks like into Cott County along Interstate 40 by the time we get close to the top of the hour at 7 o'clock. So that's 7:05 right there. So kind of gives you an idea. It's just a forecast product, kind of estimates where these storms would be if we extended them out over an hour's time frame. So making its way pretty close anyway, through the Pigeon Forge area. Let me put a track on that again and we'll stop it. Kind of an estimate of where that storm could be in the Gatlinburg area. So right about 6:25. So we're talking 20 minutes from right now. It could impact that area, which makes sense. Margot, any other updates you've seen? I know you've been checking back and forth with the Weather Service as well. Any updates from that?
No, not so far. And Ken, honestly, it looks like these storms, like you mentioned from that Futurecast, kind of going on out. And again, we're starting to see this stronger storm move over the Pigeon Forge area. If we want to take a zoomed in look, just because we're seeing that heavier rain along with this storm. So again, we're watching not only like the winds, the potential for hail, the potential for tornadoes, but we're also watching the rain. So kind of near Little Cove, heading on in towards the downtown Pigeon Forge area, we're seeing very heavy heavy rain, seeing very heavy rain near the Townsend area right now. You can see the purple right there, kind of trying to turn into that black right there, indicating that heavier rain moving on through. Next up would be Gatlinburg, Elkmont, and then we're actually going into the brunt of the Great Smoky Mountains, so really in the wooded areas over there. But again, we only have those two warned storms moving through, and they haven't mentioned, Ken, whether or not they're going to let these expire, whether or not they're going to cancel them. But it's one moving through Sevier County, kind of moving out of the way of Blount County. We do have that warned storm until about 6:30. Moved kind of too far right there.
Hey, Margot.
Oh, what's up?
I just want to show you a quick example. This is from our Anakeesta camera in Sevier County. This often is confused with a funnel cloud. This is not. This is that scud I was talking about. You get the rain-cooled air that descends from the cloud, and it makes these long striations as it's moving into the warmer air. So it just condenses the air around it. But what you're looking at here, you're not seeing it rotating, right? They're just long finger-like appendages coming down, but it's a perfect example of what we call a scud cloud and not a wall cloud or a funnel or tornado because it's not rotating. But it's a great example. This is ahead of that line of the very heavy rainfall that's making its way into the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, and Sevierville area. So I just wanted to quickly point that out. Great example of what we're talking about here. So that's from this right here that we're seeing crossing between Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. The heaviest rain is still back towards the west. Margot?
So Ken, I do actually have a quick update. There's no longer a tornado watch for any of our areas going forward. We have that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m., but the National Weather Service out of Nashville has actually released Fentress and Cumberland County from that tornado watch. So again, we had that lasting until 7 o'clock our time, but now that they have canceled that for that area. But we still have that severe thunderstorm watch in place for all of our area, and we still have that potential to possibly see tornadoes. So don't think because we're out of the watch means we can't, but we are being just mostly watched right now for those strong to severe thunderstorms.
And we could see additional watches that come out later tonight with the secondary line that we're going to be watching possibly come through. Getting another camera view here. This is going to be Skylift Park. I want to go back a little bit further here to the west. And looks like mainly just rain over towards the Sky Bridge. But I mean, this is a highly populated time with people trying to get out and enjoy. That's Cumberland County and Crossville. We've got some sun. Here's the Sky Bridge. Thankfully, nobody on it with the wind and the lightning threat, but the heavy rainfall that we're also seeing kind of moving through the area. And then what I'll do is I'll take a look at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies there on the plaza. Get that to switch over. You can see the heavy rain. Thankfully, there aren't a lot of people walking around as this heavy rain's about to make its way through the area. But again, there's a view from our Anakeesta camera. I think I have that on number 3. Let me put it back on 2 here. So I'll put this on 2. And what I wanted to show you is what we showed you earlier is kind of that scud cloud that looked like the appendages, the finger-like clouds that were extending down from the base of the clouds, that we're still seeing that there. Almost looks like a green shade, a green hue to it. That usually can mean that there's some hail within these storms as well. But again, severe thunderstorm warnings, would not be surprised to see some isolated damaging wind gusts with some of these coming through. Looks like it's 4-4 in the hockey game, and we're still about 13 minutes to go before the overtime period even starts. So you're not missing the newscast. We're not even on air right now. We're just online. So you're fine with us. We're going to keep you updated and keep tracking these storms. Just saw a big lightning strike as well in the Gatlinburg area. So quickly we'll take a look. Severe thunderstorm warnings. Look like they've extended these till 7. So they just went ahead and blanket warned all the way through Sevier and Cott County until 7, basically with this whole line. Probably just going to be a damaging wind threat the way this is looking now. Maybe a little less likely that we were seeing rotation. Remember I talked about how those two cells would kind of merge, and it looks like it happened. And so oftentimes when that does happen, you kind of lose the rotation, if you will, compared to what it was earlier. Just got an update, just checking to see from the Weather Service there. Little appendage at the bottom base of that, but that's into western North Carolina as we speak. And then the one area to the north, very weak, right there, northern Sevier, right on the border there with Jefferson County near Dandridge. So really these are the main ones we're keeping an eye on, the ones that are making their way into Sevier County. The severe thunderstorm warning, which goes now until 7 o'clock. So they're going to expire the one to the west, 6:30, that was in Blount County. That'll go out here shortly. Maryville, you're fine now. Knoxville, we're fine now. Loudon, Harriman, Wartburg, Crossville. Anybody to the west, you're fine now. It's just this cell that we're watching working its way into Sevier County. Margo, I'm going to check some of the cameras while you continue to kind of focus on those storms that are left.
Yeah, so mostly, Ken, we are focusing on Sevier County and those storms heading that way. Kind of just have that line of warnings kind of along the Tennessee, North Carolina border right there. But again, we're watching everything, seeing some very, very heavy rain along the near Pigeon Forge, actually. Let's kind of take a zoomed in look. Again, there's the reflectivity, a zoomed in look towards the Pigeon Forge area in the Sevierville area, where we're seeing that heavy rain again, kind of just looking towards that area. That again is one of the main things that we will be watching heading on into the next couple of hours, is that heavy rain threat. Now, it may not seem too bad, but that heavy rain threat, especially going over areas that have already seen a lot of rain, could cause some localized flooding. So this is kind of near the Mount Zion area and the Pigeon Forge area. We're seeing that purple right there, kind of going closer towards the Greenbrier area and the Doyle Springs area. We're seeing purple and some black over there. So seeing some very heavy rains. And again, this is where those two storms kind of connected, where Ken was mentioning those two storms kind of connecting, going towards the Tremont area, seeing that purple as well. All of this traveling east. So again, going towards Cotton County, which is why the National Weather Service in Morristown has extended that warning until 7 o'clock this evening. Again, watching everything going kind of further east. Let's take a zoomed in look kind of closer towards the Cotton County area, because they still are dealing with some rain over there as well. So kind of taking a zoomed in look towards Greenville and Greene County, even closer, taking a zoomed in look to where we're seeing this red right here. Let's take a moment. Right closer towards Hayesville, White Sand, Pine Springs, Cedar Creek. That's where we're kind of seeing that heavier rain. And again, as I mentioned, yes, heavier rain isn't too much of a concern, but after we see a lot of it, it definitely is something we need to watch out for flooding wise. But again, we're watching everything moving on in. Right now, mostly the eastern portion of our area kind of seeming like the area to watch for the remainder of the time being, especially because we're seeing those stronger storms moving on through, especially in the Sevier County area near Gatlinburg. We're watching those storms moving on through. So next areas up, especially for these strong to severe storms, would be Cove Creek, Cascades, next Henderson Springs, then Pigeon Forge Middle School and High School. Next up, Pigeon Forge exactly, then Dollywood. Know that it's a big destination to go for Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer, but definitely something we need to watch out for. Again, watching everything moving on in, seeing a few showers, Ken, trying to get a little bit heavier in the Morgan County area, but again, I think our severe threat, especially for our western counties and valley counties, are pretty much out of it for now.
Yeah, still seeing extremely heavy rainfall, excuse me, in the Sevier County area. This is Anakeesta camera looking towards the west. The reason why it looks kind of a bluish green, there could be some hail with this, but really for the most part, you're talking about just reduced visibility because it's extremely heavy rainfall that we're seeing across the area there. Another look, this is from Gatlinburg Sky Park. Mount LeConte's there in the background, but you can't see it. It's still there, but showing you just how heavy this rainfall is there. And then a little bit lower view in the Gatlinburg area. We'll get a look at Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies down at the plaza. Heavy rainfall, you can see. Saw a lot of people scurrying to get inside. These people over here waiting with their ponchos on the overhang trying to stay dry. A lot of people walking about with umbrellas, but heavy rainfall, still a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't think we've seen really extremely strong winds with this. Thankfully, as this line has moved through comparatively, but the worst part of that storm isn't quite there yet into Sevier County. So it's just making its way there now. Let's get a little bit closer look. So right now is when that heaviest rain is making its way into Gatlinburg. So we'll see if they get those gusty winds with that as well. Probably talking maybe 30, 40 mile per hour winds. These look a little stronger north. East of the Sevierville area. In fact, we'll zoom in a little closer here to some of these winds. We're talking probably 55 plus right through here. So that's Cedar Bluff. That's in Sevier County, not in West Knox. But anytime you see this kind of gold showing up, those are going to be 55 or greater. 58 miles per hour or greater indicates a severe thunderstorm warning, or 1 inch in diameter hail or larger. So a lot quieter back to the west. We can go ahead and turn off the generator if we need to. We should be okay to turn that off if you're listening upstairs. Severe thunderstorm warning, that still goes for Blunt until 6:30, but really the worst part of its areas to the east of that goes until 7 o'clock. So Gatlinburg itself, that seems to be the worst part of that storm, moving right through the downtown area. Pigeon Forge, boy, it's going to be slow going. Already busy for traffic, but as that's making its way through with the heavy pavement pounding kind of rain, then yeah, it's going to make it difficult for travelers. Go back quickly, I'll kind of show you what it looks like. That's heavy, heavy rainfall, Gatlinburg right now. A couple people don't have the umbrellas walking through, but be careful with the lightning. There's lightning around. Gatlinburg Sky Park, now you can't even see a couple hundred feet there across the ridge. Very heavy rainfall. And then we can take a look. This is going to be Anakeesta. Again, still has that kind of bluish green look to it. That's the heavy rain. And then we've got still our Knoxville camera looking west, looking a little bit better compared to what it was earlier. So what I'll do, I'm going to turn our Anakeesta camera back more down towards ground level so we can kind of see just how heavy this rainfall is. I'll switch this around, and you're going to see, again, heavy rainfall, still kind of a bluish green tint, so maybe some hail with it, but you can see it's really hard to see in the distance here. It's not that far away, all the activities that they have there at Anakeesta. A lot of people in and around the shop there seeking cover as this storm is blowing through with the heavy rainfall, but looks almost like nighttime. I mean, it's 6:18, sun doesn't set for another 2.5 hours, and you can see just how dark it is across the area with this storm that's making its way through Sevier County that's prompted that severe thunderstorm warning. Look at this storm. Wow, 6.3 virtual threat index. That's impressive. That's going to be at least the potential for some damaging winds as it's making its way just between Pigeon Forge and Sevierville. So Caton's Chapel School, 626. Cedar Bluff, again, not in West Knoxville, but in Sevier County, 630. Crockettsville, 636. Pumpkin Center, 636 as well. Margot, I think that's the highest virtual threat index that we've seen across the area for today. Let me just make sure we don't see any major shear. There's a little bit of shear right through here. That's just the strong, strong winds that we're seeing out ahead of this storm right through here. But at minimum, we're talking about, yeah, right through there. So heads up Pigeon Forge, middle and high. It's heading right to your area right now. Norton Creek Ranch, 629. That's heavy rainfall. Winds, damaging winds, certainly going to be a big concern with this. Anywhere where you see this pink to gold shading, those are winds going to be easily 50, getting close to 60 miles per hour. So Caton, Pittman Center, Jones Cove, that's really strong winds. 60, 59. So anytime you see the gold, that's going to be close to 60 miles per hour. So right through here, that's a really, really, really strong winds. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. There's Sunset Gap. There's Jones Cove School. Put it in perspective if you know where these areas are. And again, it's right on the border there between Cott County and Sevier County. There's Cosby and the elementary school. So that's the area that's headed towards. So Sunset Gap, it's right on your doorstep. Jones Cove School as well. Heads up Cosby all the way to Edwina, right along Interstate 40 as well. That could easily cause some power outages. In fact, I would not be surprised if we had some reports of down trees, power lines with that line that's making through. Margot, anything else you're seeing?
I pulled up our power outage map. Ken,
okay.
So far has not been updated for the Blount and Sevier counties, but I'm sure especially with those winds that you were pointing out that we will see those outages. But it looks like we have about 4,500 customers in Knoxville without power, and it looks like we're kind of growing closer towards the thousands in Dandridge and Hawkins and Cott counties. So again, we're watching everything moving forward, and again, as we keep mentioning, this
Margo?
is... Oh.
Yeah, come back if you can to me real quick. Sorry, I just want to show you. Here are the winds. That's Anakeesta right now. Look how strong the winds are blowing these trees. So this is what we're talking about, pushing through the area. Winds maybe 50, 60 miles per hour. Thankfully, the people are inside. Doors are closed as these winds are moving through. So that's one. Let me show you also what it looks like. Gatlinburg Sky Park. You can't see. I mean, we're talking maybe 30, 40 feet. That's about all you can see because of these really strong winds. And then this is downtown Gatlinburg. These are the winds I was talking about. So easily some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. And it makes sense. The radar verified it. Didn't mean to jump in there, Margot, but I just wanted to point out that's kind of what we're seeing, we're dealing with. Look at the trees moving, camera shaking here as we're on top of the tower, looking back down towards the gift shop here and some of the play area with the slides. If you've been to Anakeesta, this is what we're talking about. But, I mean, just impressive. But that in itself, we're only a couple of 100 feet from the tower back down to here, and low visibility as this is coming through. And that's really impressive, some of these winds that are coming through the area. So I'd guess at least 50 to 60 miles per hour, Margot, with these winds coming through.
Yeah, and Ken, I mean, we're going to have to watch for that heading on into the rest of this evening. As we keep mentioning, this is one of 2 chances at seeing strong to severe storms. Our second round isn't even supposed to arrive until closer towards midnight and last until about 5 a.m. for our Monday morning. So again, with those keeping those winds in mind, what you just saw, this second round is really going to showcase those widespread straight line winds. So definitely something to keep in mind. Kind of just wanted to show this right now, especially because we do have these warned storms kind of in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area, as well as seeing that heavy rain in that area as well. We have that severe thunderstorm warning for Sevier County until 7 o'clock, so about 30 more minutes. And don't worry, you're not missing any of our coverage right now for just our news. Looks like the hockey game's still tied, and as Ken mentioned just maybe 5 minutes ago, there's not even towards that what they do after regular time. What'd you say, Connor?
Overtime's just about to start.
Oh, overtime's just about to start. Okay. Well, again, we're going to continue to monitor everything. And even when we do go to our 6 o'clock newscast, I'll be showcasing all of these storms still passing on through. But the good news is here in downtown Knoxville, we're getting a bit of a break. Same with close to Campbell, Anderson County, Scott County, Morgan County, but still dealing with those heavier showers kind of near the Tennessee, North Carolina line. So definitely something to watch and keep in mind over the next couple of hours, especially with these stronger storms. Ken?
Yeah, again, can't even see. Visibility-wise, extremely low with the blinding rain. We have Gatlinburg Sky Park here. Showed you Anakeesta, what it looked like. Still some very gusty winds. Rain kind of sideways here, making its way through. I'm glad a lot of people have moved inside for safety, and I would imagine they have as well in Gatlinburg area, downtown. This is Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies. You'll see this too often, but flooding could be an issue next. Street flooding with all this heavy rainfall that we've had. You get runoff, of course. That could cause problems. Watch for the streams, the creeks, the rivers starting to rise as well over the next hour or so when you get a lot of this runoff. So that could certainly be problematic. Just in case you're wondering as well, Vols men, they're 3 outs away from wrapping up the SEC tournament as well, LSU. So we'll keep you up to date with that. We'll have an update on sports coming up as well. So we do officially have the severe thunderstorm watch till 9. Margot mentioned this batch coming through. We'll probably get a bit of a break before the next round comes through overnight. So I would imagine they may expire this one, and then we'll see what happens later tonight. We're talking about it once this batch moves through, a bit of a break in the activity before the next round comes through a little bit later through the overnight hours. And that would be more of a line of thunderstorms that would make its way through. And we can kind of take a look and see, if we look a little further back, what kind of activity we're seeing right now. Nothing really at this point, but it would be this line that's back now in Missouri and Illinois. That's what will come through later tonight. So once we move this through, we get a bit of a break. Small break. Go to bed. It's okay. Just make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts later tonight in case they are issued. We're going to be here. We'll keep you safe, I promise. So don't worry about that. But people always say, is it safe to go to bed? Yes, you can go to sleep. It's okay. We'll keep you updated. But that's still some very strong winds. I'm kind of concerned about this. I think we're going to really be seeing some power outages here shortly if we're not already, with this line about to make its way over the Sevier and Cott County border. Again, hockey's still going on. We're in overtime. It's sudden death, so whoever scores, hockey will end, and then they'll wrap up, and then we'll launch our newscast. So, Dominic, keep me updated upstairs, and we'll know that we need to bail out. But still, strong winds. Heads up over towards Cosby. That's going to be in Cott County, 644. The elementary school and high school at 47, and 648 in Allen Grove. as this just races off towards the east. But this should be kind of our last gasp with this round of storms, because as we pull back out, there's not a whole lot left. This is just rain, thankfully. No lightning with it, no severe storms, no gusty winds. This is the last bit making its way through the Gatlinburg area, heading into southern Cott County. So we'll keep an eye on that. Margot, anything else that you've seen? I know you've been talking with the Weather Service. Any updates from them about anything?
So far not. I know that they're canceling some stuff for North Carolina, but you know, we're in Tennessee, so not really mattering here for us. But I did also want to point out, Ken, I noticed that that rain was really heavy on that camera shot from Anakeesta that you showed. Also want to keep in mind that we're probably seeing some maybe penny-sized hail mixed within a lot of these storms. That is obviously a possibility. Seeing some hail kind of closer towards just south of Newport, just taking a zoomed in look, kind of closer towards that area. Let's take a zoomed out look. There we go. Over kind of closer towards here. This is closer towards the 40 line. So this is near Bluffton. As Ken was mentioning, Cosby, that's where we're seeing those gustier winds. We also possibly could be seeing a hail path just over that area. So again, watch out for those winds, watch out for that hail, and also watch out for that rain. Seeing a lot going on here. And again, just looks like a deluge over the Gatlinburg area, the Pigeon Forge area, as well as Pittman Center. Again, this storm is traveling east, so next up is Cott County, heading towards the Cosby area. And again, we do have this warned storm until 7 o'clock. We'll keep you updated, but it looks like they're going to send everything off towards North Carolina here soon. But again, we're going to keep watching everything, especially with those winds gusting up to that 60-mile-an-hour range, especially heading towards 40. So if you know anybody heading towards kind of that 40 near the Cosby area, I'm going to take a zoomed in look kind of towards the Newport area again. So this is kind of near Browns, Grassy Fork. If we kind of travel, this is 40 going into North Carolina, it looks like. Continuing to kind of go over the Great Smoky Mountains. I know that's already kind of a tough drive as is for some people, especially going over the mountains, but with these winds kind of catching up, something to keep in mind. So if you know anybody maybe traveling through the Great Smoky Mountains going towards North Carolina or coming from North Carolina towards us, give them a heads up, because we are seeing these really, really gusty winds and they're going to continue to trek east. So definitely going to impact drivers on 40. Definitely something to look out for, and just take it safe. Ken?
And Margo, again, Gatlinburg Sky Park here, they lowered the umbrellas, took the chairs, tables down, moved everybody inside. They've halted the lift here. I know Anakeesta halted sales in the lift there as well until these storms go through. So they've got their safety protocols, which is great. I know that, very busy with the tourist in this time of year, but safety is the main concern. Already look at the ponding we were talking about here, the main drain here, trying to get rid of some of this water, but I bet we're seeing a lot of ponding water on the streets. I'm sure there's some flooding. Umbrella sales are booming, I'm sure, across the area. But I'd say the strongest winds have now pushed east of the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Sevierville area, but they're still kind of on the east side of the county. So there's Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville. Worst part now is making its way to the east. Still going to be some very gusty winds, though, but we're starting to head over into Cott County. So Cosby, 650. The elementary and high school, 654, Allen Grove at 655 as well. So if we take a look at the winds here, again, where you're seeing the brighter pink, those are going to be getting close to 55 plus 40, 48. So yeah, at least 50 mile per hour winds most likely with some of those as they're pushing east. A little less than what it was just a little while ago. In fact, we can go back, kind of put this into a loop just from 30 minutes. You can see the progression of these really strong winds as they've made their way through, right through there now. So it's getting close to the higher elevations of the Smokies, those strongest winds, and really just turning into a possibility of a flooding threat in some areas of Sevier County, which we'll keep an eye on. So we'll continue to watch that. How are we doing in the hockey game? Looks like we're still going. 15 minutes left in that. So we'll stay on here for just a couple more minutes. We're going to give our upstairs a chance to regroup as well. In fact, why don't we go ahead and do that? We'll go ahead and get ready for the newscast that'll be coming up probably here next 15 minutes or so, hopefully. if we get a solution to the hockey game. But if we need to, I think this is going to be the worst part of the weather. Just about done. Should give us a bit of a respite. But we'll go ahead and take a bit of a break online. Crawl still running at the bottom of the screen on air as well. If we put that up as well, make sure we do that. And we'll have an update as soon as the news is starting here with an update what you expect for the rest of the night. But we'll go ahead and sign off for our online and app conditions right now. But again, Crawl will be going at the bottom of the screen for the hockey game as well. So we'll send it back to regular programming. We'll take a bit of a break, and we'll see you back here in just a few minutes when the news starts.